This page is the cover of SEGA Saturn Magazine Volume 31 from 1997. The main headline screams about Shining Force 2i and a bunch of other new titles being packed inside. It's priced at 290 yen, with a note saying, "Big price cut." The cover features an anime girl holding a gun, very likely related to a featured game, and behind her is a silhouetted face of a cool-looking guy. Looking at the text highlights, it seems Shining Force 2i is a big focus, being called a Sega new RPG announcement. There's also a mention of the Tokyo Game Show 97 Autumn, suggesting a preview is included. Some of the featured games listed include Super Robot Wars, Panzer Dragoon RPG, Street Fighter Collection, Grandia, and titles like Evangelion, Digital Card Library, Desire, Sengoku Blade, J.League Soccer Club, and J.League Pro Baseball Team. There's also a special feature called Teenage Gamer Portrait. Overall, this cover is hyping up a lot of exciting new SEGA Saturn releases and news, especially around RPGs and the upcoming Tokyo Game Show. This page is a serene photo of a young woman standing by the water, looking out at a harbor filled with boats. The Japanese text in the top left corner reads, "That summer is waiting." It sets a nostalgic or reflective mood, possibly acting as a page divider or a thematic image within the magazine, maybe related to the Teenage Gamer Portrait feature mentioned on the cover, evoking a summertime or youthful feeling. This page is an advert for the Sega Saturn game Real Sound, Kaze no Regret. It's highlighted as a sound novel where you play only using audio. The advert describes it as a moving love story, where you become the protagonist, Hiroki, and experience first love memories. It mentions the story. An ending will change depending on how you play. The game aims to gently unlock your heart's memories, and is described as a touching and somewhat nostalgic tale from Warp, delivered to everyone. The advert also states, the game is on sale now as a 4-disc Crodrom set, priced at 6,400 yen. It also gives a website address and shows the Sega Saturn logo, along with logos of convenience stores like 7-Eleven, Family Mart, Circle-esque, and Sunkoos, where you can buy the game. This page is an advertisement from Electronic Arts for the game Nuclear Strike, although here it's referred to as Super Apache in Japanese. It's framed around a news report scenario with a reporter named Andrea Gray, reporting live from Crimea, discussing a global fear due to a potential nuclear weapon leak. The game is a shooting simulation featuring a special attack helicopter, the Super Apache. It emphasizes immersive gameplay, with world events forming the backdrop to the action, and 360-degree helicopter control. The advertisement highlights the detailed terrain and weapon systems you'll encounter. It positions the game within the legacy of the Strike series, suggesting it's a follow-up to games like Desert Strike, and questions whether this Super Apache can save the world. The screenshots showcase in-game graphics and action. Essentially, it's promising a thrilling helicopter combat experience set against a tense global crisis. This page introduces the key characters in Nuclear Strike, which is called Twin Stick Strike here. First up is Secretary Czar, the overall commander of StrikeNet. He's a mysterious figure issuing orders, and his true power is unknown. Then there's General Earl, the leader of StrikeNet and a seasoned tactical strategist, considered a reliable and experienced mission commander. Andrea is a GBS news reporter, likely the same one from the previous page, who works with Security Czar, covering incidents and keeping the world informed. Hack is a former NASA mainframe technician turned loner hacker, providing network intelligence and managing the StrikeNet. Finally, there's the Shadow Man, described as someone lurking in the shadows, possibly a KGB general, only detectable by thermal cameras, with a digitally altered voice and an unknown true identity. The page highlights this as a strategic shooting and simulation game, set to be released on September 18, 1997, for 5,800 yen before tax, published by Electronic Arts Victor. You can also see some in-game screenshots of the helicopter action and the Sega Saturn logo at the top. The next page is the contents page for this Sega Saturn magazine. It lists the sections included in this issue. First up on page 10 is a Tokyo Game Show 97 Autumn Direct Guide. Page 135 features a special report based on interviews and questionnaires asking, "Do games save us from boring daily life?" which looks at teenage gamers. Then on page 22, there's a special report covering several games. These include Shining Force 2i Scenario 1, Super Robot Wars F, Panzer Dragoon RPG Grandia, Neon Genesis Evangelion Digital Card Library, Solo Crisis, Sengoku Blade, Sengoku Ace Episode 2, Purikura Daisakusen, Zen Nippon Pro Wrestling featuring Virtua, Samurai Spirits Tenkaichi Kenkyakuden, and Samurai Spirits Amakusa's Descent, Winning Post 2 Final 97 Spring, and Winning Post 2 Final 97 Autumn. Finally, on page 70, under the Let's Make It series special feature, there's an article about creating a J-League Pro Soccer club and also creating a professional baseball team. The page also features an image of a character who looks like he could be from Shining Force. This page highlights the latest SEGA Saturn news and upcoming releases. Under new release titles, there's a range of games including a Tamagotchi team management simulator, Cross Romance, Tilk the Blue Sea Girl, Pratialza Star Bowling, Jungle Park, and Formula Grand Prix 1997. Also mentioned are various genres like dating sims and special edition titles. The Coming Soon software section teases upcoming SEGA Saturn games such as New Adventure Island, Nakagawa Land Race, Street Fighter Collection, Finalist, and Wiz. There's a section for SEGA Saturn Software Complete Guide, focusing on strategy guides for games that have already been released, including Virus, Real Sound Wind Regret, Langrisser IV, and Last Bronx. The page also features a section on monthly Falcom magazine and an interview with Yamashita chapters about Falcom classics. There is also a highlighted Urgent Special Project feature on the House of the Dead. Finally, there are announcements for reader giveaways to celebrate the magazine's Power Up renewal, offering original telephone cards as prizes to all applicants. The right-hand side of the page contains a game index for quick reference. This page reports on the Saturn Day event held at Tokyo Joyopolis. It sounds like it was a pretty cool event focusing on the recently released fighting game Last Bronx. They had a mismatch tournament where players had handicaps like boxing gloves and limited vision, which sounds hilarious. The music group D Secrets also performed their song Juggy Love on stage, and they mentioned that the event felt very fresh and different from the usual crowd, with lots of cosplayers turning up. Apparently the next event is planned for September 21st and will be themed around Rhapsody of the Island. That sounds interesting. I'll have to keep an eye out for that. The photos show the stage area, with people playing Last Bronx in front of a crowd, and another picture captures a group of cosplayers dressed up as characters, maybe from Last Bronx or other SEGA games. It definitely looks like it was a fun and energetic event. Director Hideaki Anno and Ryu Murakami are collaborating on a live-action film, Love and Pop, based on Murakami's novel, utilizing a documentary-like filming style. Konami's Ganbare Goemon, Mystical Ninja, series is receiving an anime adaptation, premiering on TBS in October. The Java T-Battle Koshien fighting game tournament finals are releasing on video in September, with Queen of Queens and King of Kings versions. The public recording of the radio program Dukusei Pure Love Department took place in August, with broadcast planned for August 31st. A new interactive radio drama, Real Sound Wind Regret, will begin airing in October with a theme song by Suzuki Kenichi. Finally, a new Yamagiwa soft store has opened in Osaka. This page highlights a few new releases and events. Firstly, singer Shina Fujisaki is releasing her second single in September, titled Owaranai Memory Dogyu wo Tomera Renakute, which translates to Unending Memory Can't Stop the Reckoning. The single is produced by Kazuho Komorike, and there's also information about joining her official fan club, Shiori Mate. Moving to anime news, a website called Sukiyaki is launching on September 1st, focusing on anime and voice actor goods. And they're debuting at Comic-It. They are promising special member benefits and the chance to win voice actor goods. There's also an article about a new digital pet called Rabushup from electronics manufacturer Uretz. This digital pet seems to focus on relationship aspects, where you can have your pet date and breed, even creating second-generation pets. It mentions a seal vending machine tine where you can create stickers with your pet. Finally, the Pure Satamaga seems to be undergoing a renewal. The article focuses on a TV commercial parody, with images comparing before and after the renewal, showcasing a dish of tempura soba. It emphasizes the dramatic changes in the commercial and encourages viewers to watch it on Fuji TV. The bottom of the page is filled with music release adverts. Matsuda Ryu's Naked Love Again, Ishii Yukinori's Neat Girl Age and Louvre Too Shy, 2010 Radio No Tabi Android, Anna Maiko, 2010 Radio Drama CD, and Mayurin Kakiwa's Magurin Kakiwa album. This page reviews several game-related books. Game Super 27 Years Life by Kenji Eno offers insights into the game developer's life and approach, recommended for those interested in the industry. Game-like World by Takadami Ryoko explores the influence of games on daily life. If you do this, you can become a game creator. By Satoru Sayama provides an introductory guide for aspiring game developers. The page also features guides for specific games like Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story, Blue Destiny, Zero Yon Champ Duzige, and Real Sound Wind Regret. A pickup section highlights Sealed Dead Letter Secret Writings, a potential mystery game book. The Tokyo Game Show 97 Autumn, hailed as Japan's largest entertainment festival, will be held at Makuhari Messe in Chiba from September 5th to 7th. Building on the success of the previous spring show, which attracted over 120,000 visitors, organizers anticipate even greater attendance. Exhibitors include Arc System Works, Guilty Gear, Atlas, Princess Crown, Soul Hackers, and Enix. Kaze no Tairiku Monogatari, Ninja Pen Maru. The event will feature new software showcases, stage events, and game tournaments. Admission is 1,000 yen on the day, 800 yen in advance, and free for elementary school children and younger. This page is a preview of the Tokyo Game Show 97 Autumn, starting with SEGA, who are hyping up their booth with unannounced new titles that are worth seeing. They are hosting a pro baseball team, Tsukuro. Let's make a pro baseball team corner, where attendees can create face portraits of players to be potentially included in the game. They are also showcasing Sakura Wars 2 Thou Shalt Not Die, with game footage, and the Sakura Wars Steam radio show. Next up is Band Presto. They will have 5 titles at their booth alongside events and giveaways of original premium goods and videos. A special whispering event is planned for 4 p.m. on the 7th. Especially, Entertainment Software Publishing is highlighting Grandia and Gungraphon 2. Or Grandia, they are emphasizing an immersive audiovisual experience using headphones. Gungraphon 2 will feature network battles using cables. The page includes a large table listing exhibitors and their game titles. Some notable publishers showcasing Saturn titles include, especially with Grandia, Silhouette Mirage, and Lunar, Eternal Blue. Capcom is bringing Street Fighter Collection, Street Fighter 03, possibly Alpha 3 internationally, Dungeons & Dragons Collection, and Mega Man 8, Rockman 8. Konami has a large lineup including Vandal Hearts, Ancient Civilization Lost, Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series Volume 2, Rainbow Colored Kiss, Gokujo Parodius Da Deluxe Pack, Twinbee Deluxe Pack, and International Superstar Soccer 97 amongst others. Compile is showing Madu Monogatari Arcade and Puyo Puyo Sun. Shileko lists Psychic Force and Game Tengoku 2. This page continues the Tokyo Game Show 97 Autumn Preview, emphasizing the abundance of games featuring attractive female characters, which they playfully call Girl Games Galore. Games like Sentimental Graffiti and Desire are highlighted as examples of this trend, with screenshots showcasing their visual style and characters. The article points out key booths to watch in the 97 Autumn Show, particularly focusing on Enix and Compile. Enix will be showcasing Saturn titles, with companions in stylish costumes, implying visually appealing female characters. Compile is planning to distribute freebies like Demon Eye mirror goods and Demon Story videos at their booth. Furthermore, it mentions that the town's main companies like Chunsoft and Takara will also be present. Chunsoft's booth will feature talk show events with talents like Dangan and others, alongside their Game Street, Mach. Takara is showcasing DX Human Life Game 2. Finally, the page includes a continuation of the exhibitors list in table format, briefly detailing more companies and their showcase titles for the event. The Game Show Stage 97 Autumn event, held from September 5th to 7th, featured a variety of presentations and activities. Friday included a buyer's conference, TGS Curiosity News, and a cosplay contest. Saturday hosted the Game Industry Pioneer Meeting, a live talk show, 2 creators conference sessions, and a sound design exploration. Sunday featured a game quiz, a treasure appraisal group, a second creators conference, a radio show recording, and a charity auction. The event also listed exhibitors and games, with notable titles like Momotaro Dushuki, RMJ, The Mystery Hospital, and Mass Destruction. The top 15 best-selling Sega Saturn games in Japan are detailed. Adventure game, Kuro no Danshu leads the pack, followed by the enduring Resident Evil, and RPG, Langrisser, IV. Fighting games like Marvel Superheroes and Last Bronx also performed well, as did Slayers Royal at number 5. Other titles included Gekitotsu Koshien, a mini 4WD racing game, Furukomi Yonku Super Factory, and board game DX Jinsei Game 2, along with dating sim Dukyusei 2. The list also features Fighters Megamix, puzzle games Puyo Puyo Tsu and Puyo Puyo Sun, and the unique audio game Real Sound Kaze no Regret. Neon Genesis Evangelion Second Impression completes the top 15. Due to a slow release week, established titles continued to dominate sales, offering a diverse look at the Saturn's popular games. This page showcases two distinct top lists. The first, User Data Top 20, reveals the games Sega Saturn owners most desire to see ported to the system. Leading the pack is Neon Genesis Evangelion, Iron Maiden, followed by The House of the Dead, and D2. Other highly anticipated titles include King of Fighters 97, entries from the Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest series, Street Fighter 2i, My Goddess, and Virtua Striker series. Interestingly, Shining Force 2i is announced as coming to Saturn, marked with a congratulations banner. There's also a small update regarding the Sorcerian series, showing its completion and realization progress. The second list, Shop Data Top 15, ranks the top arcade video games. Virtua Fighter 3 takes the top spot, with Tekken 3 and Virtua Striker 2 following closely. Popular titles like Vampire Savior, Cyber Troopers Virtualon, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, and Top Skater are also present. Side by Side 2 is featured in the 1-point check game section, highlighting its exciting battles with cars from manufacturers like Toyota, Nissan, Honda, and Mazda, and courses ranging from beginner to expert. The page also includes screenshots from Scud Race and Cyber Troopers Virtualon. This page reveals the User Data Top 30 Hopeful New Soft ranking for upcoming Sega Saturn games, essentially highlighting the most anticipated titles according to user votes. Grandia takes the number 1 spot with a massive 444 points and a 75% development progress, accompanied by screenshots and comments praising its character designs and anticipation for the game show version. Sakura Wars 2 is in second place, with 419 points. Its development progress is marked as suggesting uncertainty, and the text expresses excitement for its dramatic content and the female characters. Super Robot Wars F is third, with 330 points, and fully completed at 100% development, boasting about its music and interviews with creators like Ichiro Mizuki. There is also a pickup check game section featuring Yuno, a girl who chants love at the bound of this world, in 6th place, highlighting its mature themes and world building. Lastly, professional baseball team Tsukuro appears in 14th place. The page emphasizes that user feedback and votes determine these rankings, suggesting it's a reflection of player anticipation for upcoming Sega Saturn releases. This Sega Saturn Reader ranking, All Soft Readers Check, Volume 66, compiles user-voted scores for games. Readers rate games on a 10-point scale, with the average determining placement. Voting for this week closed September 4th. The top games this week include Thunder Force V, Sakura Wars, and Biohazard, Resident Evil. The commentary notes a slowdown in new releases, but the top ranks remain competitive. Langrisser IV experienced a significant drop, while Biohazard continues its climb. Notable ranking shifts include Tokimeki Memorial's drastic fall and Last Bronx's rise, highlighting the dynamic nature of the reader's preferences. The rankings indicate a mix of genres and are marked with annotations explaining new entries and vote counts. This page features game spotlights and continues the game rankings. Black Chapter, an adult PC game ported to Saturn, is praised for its atmosphere and CG content, recommended for mature players. Mega Man X4 is highlighted for its user-friendliness and beautiful graphics, though some find later stages less challenging. Full Cowl Mini 4 WD Super Factory is deemed accessible for children with detailed customization options. Marvel Superheroes, a port, is lauded for its smooth gameplay and easy-to-execute moves, despite occasional slowdowns and missing arcade modes. The left side continues the All Soft Readers Check ranking table, providing further details on the ongoing reader poll, showcasing a list of games and their scores. This page continues the Saturn game rankings and spotlights a couple of new entries. On the left, we see the ongoing All Soft Readers Check chart, which lists a bunch of Saturn games and their reader scores. Moving to the top middle, we have a section introducing new games, the first being Mysterious Thief Saint Tail. It's described as a game from Tommy, released in July 1997, and falling into the adventure genre. The reviewer notes the anime style, story-driven gameplay, and cute character design. It received a total average score of 6.7777 and a reviewer score of 5.33. Next to it is Gekitotsu Koshien, a baseball game from Magic, released in August 1997, also in the sports genre. The reviewer felt it was more interesting than expected, capturing the feel of high school baseball tournaments, praising the realistic representation of national high school baseball. This one got a total average score of 6.3333 and a reviewer score of 4.66. On the right side, there's an editorial discussing the reader poll results for Saturn games. It mentions that the new releases like Saint Tail and Gekitotsu Koshien might have some popularity factors. The article talks about the range of scores in the ranking tables and mentions games like Phantasm Step, Prey Doll Disc Volume 4 Mirai Kuroda, and Magical Hoppers as examples within the poll, with Magical Hoppers apparently dropping 33 ranks. The writer notes that new titles are creating movement in the charts. This page highlights the Odds Table Saturn D section, which is a continuation of game rankings. It seems to focus on a specific title under the Satamaga Recommends banner, SEGA Ages Fantasy Zone. The review praises Fantasy Zone as a memorable masterpiece, emphasizing its excellent gameplay, graphics, and sound, even going as far as to say the bugs are perfectly recreated as part of the experience. The reviewer mentions the high quality of the Sega Ages port and recommends it as a must-have title for Saturn owners, especially for longtime Sega fans. They highlight the game's addictive nature and the impressive technical skill in recreating the arcade version. There's a section with reader comments specifically on Fantasy Zone, praising its colorfulness and addictive gameplay while acknowledging its high difficulty, especially compared to PC Engine versions. One reader mentions enjoying it from beginners to veterans due to the adjustable difficulty settings in the Saturn version. Lastly, the latest top and bottom layers talk section discusses the ranking trends, pointing out that in the 66th ranking period, the 18th generation Emperor has been decided. It mentions the fluctuations in the rankings and that these reflect the current trends in game popularity. This Sega Saturn page previews upcoming games and highlights reader polls. Next race expected horse paddock information. Previews include Panichan, Adventure 5.33, Lupin the Third Chronicle, Content Rich No Score, Terra Cresta 3D, 3D Shooter 4.0, and Saturn Music School, Unique Music Software Score Unknown. The page also features a reader-voted ranking of Saturn peripherals. Additionally, it promotes a reader survey and prediction contests, offering prizes like memory carts and controllers. Contests involve predicting game rankings and average scores, with winners from previous contests announced. Anticipated titles throughout the year are mentioned, including Sakura Taisen 2. Prediction contests continue with Last Bronx for ranking and Saturn Music School for odds. This page showcases Shining Force 2i, highlighting it as a simulation RPG masterpiece resurrected after 4 years since the previous title, 2. It mentions that 1997, 4 years after the release of 2, marks the arrival of a brand new Shining Force. The game boasts a renewed system and appealing characters, telling a grand story in 3 parts with beautiful 3D maps. You'll fight alongside proud centaurs, magical elves, and various companions. The page excitedly reports that the game's completion is at 60% and is scheduled for release in December 97 by Sega, priced at 4,800 yen for a single-player experience, recommended for all ages. Screenshots display in-game scenes and character artwork. This page reports on the press conference held on August 20, 1997, at 2 p.m. for Shining Force 2i. The article emphasizes the highly anticipated nature of this latest installment in the Shining Force series, noting its roots as a beloved simulation RPG on the Mega Drive. Genesis. Key figures present at the event included Hideki Okamura from Sega Enterprises, Hiroyuki Takahashi, president of Sonic, Yasuhiro Taguchi from Sega's development division, and Shugo Takahashi, president of Camelot. The article highlights Shining Force 2i as a significant leap forward, emphasizing its 3D technology and ambition to surpass existing RPG concepts. Hiroyuki Takahashi explains the long development period was due to wanting to create the game under the best possible conditions. It's positioned as a culmination of 3D technology for the Saturn, aiming to fulfill the dreams of users, and is scheduled for release this winter. Screenshots are shown for Shining Force 2, and Shining Force Holy Ark to contextualize the series' history and evolution. Shining Force on Mega Drive is described as a simulation RPG released in March 1992, and Shining Force 2 as the second installment in the series released in October 1993. Shining Force Holy Ark on Saturn is mentioned as a 3D dungeon RPG released in December 1996, showcasing the series' diverse RPG offerings before the arrival of Shining Force 2i. This page introduces Synbios, which seems to be a new game with a focus on a unique story structure. It's described as a three-part story, with different main characters whose actions are interconnected in a shared world and time. The first protagonist, Synbios, is a young knight and prince from the Republic of Espinia. He's described as hating the Empire due to its class system, and has been taught ideals of equality by his father. He's going to war in place of his sick father. The page then highlights the full polygon graphics, mentioning that the polygon map CG from Wisdom and Holy Ark are being used to create beautiful visuals. They are using the Saturn's built-in DSP chip for real-time texture mapping, particularly for battle scene effects. Screenshots showcase battles and the polygon style of the game. The text emphasizes violent battles that cut through the screen, suggesting intense and visually striking combat encounters. It appears to be showing off the graphical capabilities of the game using polygon graphics. This page highlights Dantares, a famous knight and supporting character for the main protagonist, Synbios. In Shining Force 2.1, Dantares is a proud centaur knight and a commander in the Comrade Army, highly regarded within the Republic Army. He is supporting Synbios in the current war, who is participating in place of his father. The article mentions that veteran generals and leaders treat the young Synbios with respect, not just because of his father's renowned name within the Comrade leadership, but also significantly due to Dantares' influence. The page also features sections dedicated to battle scenes, showcasing the game's polygon graphics and the intense combat, mentioning force arts within the battle system. Screenshots illustrate these battles, depicting Synbios engaged in combat with a Birdman enemy, emphasizing the visually impressive and dynamic nature of the battles. The text describes these as violent battles that cut through the screen. The article reviews the visual enhancements of Shining Force's transition to 3D graphics, specifically praising the impact of magic. The shift to 3D allows for a more compelling and visually stunning presentation, with dynamic camera angles and impressive spell effects emerging from magic circles. The piece also introduces Maskishrid, an elf girl and magic instructor, and a close friend to the protagonist. She is a valuable member of Synbios' army. The magic section explores the evolution of magic from its 2D origins. The 3D engine provides more depth and impact to the spells, with varying categories such as recovery, attacks, and summons. The effectiveness and range of magic depend on the magic level, and several classes, like priests and wizards, utilize magic. This page is an emergency special report about Shining Force 2i. It spotlights a new character called Grace, described as a calm, foxling nun who is a childhood friend to both Maskimarin and Synbios. She seems like a composed and mature character, contrasting with her upbringing alongside the other two. The page also discusses the CG movie opening for Shining Force 2i, highlighting its high quality and mentioning that a well-known animation team is involved in its creation. Screenshots show detailed CG scenes, hinting at large-scale and mysterious, possibly mechanical, elements in the opening. Finally, there's a section on the church interior, showcasing the 3D rendered environment. The text emphasizes the serene atmosphere and beautiful lighting in the 3D church, mentioning it as a location where priests and bishops, high-level magic users focused on healing and recovery, operate within the game. The screenshots depict the church interior with red carpets and ornate details. This page delves deeper into the world of Shining Force 2 Eyes, showcasing various locations you'll explore. It starts with the Strait Crossing Bridge, a location that evokes a sense of history and overlooks small boats passing beneath. Next is the Tent Village, depicted as a caravan stop, a place for weary travelers to rest and prepare, raising questions about the diverse inhabitants you might encounter there. Then there's the Seaport City, described as a modern and refined urban center built upon the sea, featuring trees, fountains, and perhaps a bustling marketplace. Moving on, we see the Propeller Floating Town, a truly unique location suspended in the sky by massive propellers, prompting curiosity about how people even access the buildings. The Moving Village is another fascinating concept. A village with a grand mansion on wheels that floats and boasts an impressive entrance. Finally, the town with mysterious technology is revealed, showcasing metallic structures and powerful engines, suggesting an advanced level of technology used to power these floating cities and propellers. The page effectively highlights the imaginative and varied environments you'll journey through in Shining Force 2 Eyes, emphasizing the game's rich world building. This page is an exciting update, focusing on Shining Force 2i. It showcases various locations you'll be exploring in the game. We get a glimpse of the Demon Sky Fortress, described as a complex, rotating ancient fortress with maze-like structures and an entrance visible below. Then there's the Castle Wall City, a strategically fortified city built right onto castle walls, emphasizing its defenses. The town with Water Wheel presents a more peaceful scene, with wooden houses and a water wheel, suggesting a calm, pastoral atmosphere. We also see an indoor shot, depicting a simple room within a town or village, bathed in sunlight. Finally, there's the Border Gorge, featuring a suspension bridge crossing a deep gorge with a powerful waterfall as a backdrop. The page also introduces us to Medion, the third prince of the Destonia Empire. Interestingly, he's described as having a commoner mother, which has led to him having a low sense of entitlement and a critical view of aristocratic society. He's even said to be disregarded as a brother by his two older siblings, who are the Queen's sons. The tagline at the bottom boldly states, "Our battle begins," setting the stage for the grand adventure that awaits in Shining Force 2 Eyes. The overall impression is that the game will feature a diverse range of environments and a compelling storyline centered around Medion and his unique position within the Destonia Empire. This page is all about the scenarios in the Super Robot Wars series, specifically focusing on Super Robot Wars F. It's introducing the scenario mode, with a spotlight on the first scenario titled Confrontation Mazinger vs. Getter Robo G. This simulation RPG is scheduled for release on September 25th and will cost 6,800 yen and is a single-player experience. Scenario 1 sets up a conflict between Mazinger Z and Getter Robo G. The story begins when Getter Robo G is stolen by Baron Ashura. Dr. Saotome urgently contacts the heroes because of this crisis, and Mazinger Z and Aphrodite A are dispatched to investigate and handle the situation. The page features screenshots showing in-game dialogue and battles, highlighting characters like Ryo, Drive Saotome, Professor Yumi, Baron Ashura, and Kless. We also see robots like Mazinger Z, Getter Robo Jeg, Boss Boro, Getter 1, and a counterpart to Getter Dragon in action. The focus is on this initial scenario, where Getter Robo Jeg has been stolen, prompting the Mazinger team to take action and resolve the crisis. The next page delves into Scenario 02 of Super Robot Wars F, titled Impact from the Sky. It seems Getter Robo G is damaged and on its way to the Tesla-Licht Institute for repairs, but their journey is interrupted by a falling mystery stone, which they decide to investigate. This scenario introduces new combat units. If you're playing the Super Robot scenario, the Gespinst you encounter will be different from the real robot scenario version. Even though they look the same, their abilities and weapons are completely different. They highlight a bunch of new mecha appearing, like Mazinger Z, Aphrodite A, Boss Boro, and the Getter Robo team Getter 1, Getter 2, and Getter 3. Enemy units like Getter Dragon and Flying Fortress Tool are also shown. We're also introduced to new characters and mechs, such as the Textmach, Eagle Fighter N, Land Cougar N, Land Liger N, and Big Moss N. The page also gives a sneak peek at the true identity of the Mystery Stone, with screenshots showing in-game dialogue and hinting at Jack and Mary King's involvement. It also mentions that after battles in this scenario, Shapiro from Dunkleugr will appear and punish any traitors, adding an interesting twist to the story. The Super Robot Wars Flight Intermission screen is where players strengthen their units after completing a map. Here, you can save your game, modify units and weapons, and manage pilot and unit abilities. Data saving allows you to save progress. Unit and weapon modification lets you upgrade stats like HP and attack power, though it's costly. Pilot stats, if read, indicate exceeding unit limits. Enhancement parts provide boosts and can be equipped on units. Scenario 03. Special training, Great Snow Mountain Orochi, begins. Doman Cashew and the Shining Gundam are introduced for special training related to the Ultimate Gundam. Players will face the new enemy Flying Fortress Ghoul in a snowy environment. This page introduces Scenario 04 of Super Robot Wars F, titled Poseidon's Assault. It details the escalating conflict with Poseidon forces as they launch a major attack, breaking through Earth's atmosphere. The scenario involves characters like Dabba Myrode and Am, who are caught in the thick of the battle. The page highlights new units appearing in this scenario, showcasing stats and details for both player-controlled and enemy units. To the player side, we see the L-Game and Dizzard, piloted by Dabba Myrode and Fenrir AMU respectively, and the transport ship Troyhorse commanded by Henken Beckener. Enemy units include the Dizzard piloted by Mirawu Kiao, Jigan piloted by Lulilu Luka, G, Defensor piloted by Kiao Kobayashi, Bash piloted by Gavlet Gable, and Greya, piloted by Hashar Moja. The article mentions enhancements to the real robot scenario part of the game, indicating improvements from previous versions, especially around Scenario 7. It also points out the initial unit upgrade feature and a development demo, which may be showcasing these new features and units in action. Essentially, the game is getting refined and improved based on player feedback and development progress. This page unveils brand new details for a Cecil Panzer Dragoon RPG, the latest game in the Panzer Dragoon series. The article focuses on new in-game elements called monoliths, described as remnants of an ancient civilization. There are different types of monoliths, including map monoliths, which are accessed to obtain map data. Save monoliths are used for saving progress, found in locations like ancient ruins. Message monoliths display special messages, possibly giving hints or context within the Panzer Dragoon world. The article also mentions a location called Blue Ruins Uru, an old civilization ruin with a guard system that players need to navigate. It is hinted that these are a type of protect, object, or puzzle. Screenshots showcase various gameplay scenes, including battles with dragon-like creatures and exploration of ruinous environments. We see the player character engaging in combat. It's mentioned that more LCS screens are being released, showcasing new characters and monoliths. The game is scheduled for release this autumn, with development in full swing. The article also teases the appearance of Shellquef, hinting at connections to Panzer Dragoon Zwei, which is building excitement and mystery around the game's narrative. This article explores the towns in a Kemzil, Panzer Dragoon RPG, emphasizing the detailed environments and interactive elements. Towns feature diverse inhabitants, interiors, and dynamic camera angles that encourage exploration. The article highlights the village of the setting sun, Kindness, contrasting it with previous lively settings. Interactions with villagers reveal initial caution towards outsiders. The article previews encounters, including a conversation with a hesitant fat man who might reveal information in the tavern. It also teases the return of Shellquef, a powerful enemy from Panzer Dragoon Zwei, hinting at its continued mysteries and potential for interaction through lock-on targeting. The environments, interactions, and returning enemies suggest a rich and engaging world to discover. Azul. Panzer Dragoon RPG's towns evolve dynamically with a day/night cycle. Daytime brings bustling activity, making information gathering easier, while nighttime reveals different characters and secrets. Players must explore thoroughly at both times to uncover everything. The text also introduces two new allies for Edge. Gash, a 28-year-old seeker thief and guide to ancient ruins, will assist Edge early on. Panet, a 20-year-old old-century researcher residing in Zoa, is fascinated by ancient machinery. Screenshots suggest Edge encountering Panet, hinting at their alliance. In this interview, Azel, Panzer Dragoon RPG developers discuss the game's towns and the upcoming game show demo. They emphasize the immersive design of towns, aiming for explorable spaces rather than simple map icons. Each town has a distinct atmosphere, offering varied cultural styles and expansive layouts, not mazes. NPCs and dialogue change based on player progress, directly impacting the story and encouraging player choices. The developers highlight the detail-rich environment, packed with sub-events and secrets for players to uncover. At the game show, a playable demo will provide a tangible experience of the game, allowing attendees to explore the detailed environments firsthand. This page focuses on an interview with the developers of Grandia, specifically discussing character demos and the work of the programmers. They mention the challenges of fitting the large game onto a CD and the positive reception of the demo version, Prelude. They are working on improving load times and message speed based on user feedback. The developers confirm that movement speed will remain the same, but they have improved map display during running to be more user-friendly. They've also added a street character radar mode, which is like a top-down view to help players navigate towns. Regarding character demos, they explain these are not pre-rendered movies, but use in-game characters moving in real time. Because it's in 3Ds, they can use camera angles to create a cinematic feel, something they couldn't do before. They also touch on polygon usage. They are using specific techniques to make polygon characters look good, without excessive polygon count, which they jokingly call a company secret. Morphing is not used in the field, but will be used in battles for transitioning polygon units into different shapes. The developers featured are Mr. Koyama from the Development Department First Section, Harada from the same department, and Mr. Ohata, also from Development Department First Section, who are all involved in programming aspects of Grandia. They are working hard to optimize the game and incorporate user feedback. The interview highlights development tools for Grandia, focusing on the street character radar, a feature to improve visibility in 3D towns by displaying characters and objects in a simplified bird's-eye view. The core development tool is Kenzo, an in-house editor used for map creation, including building and object placement, and controlling overall game elements. Kenzo streamlines processes by allowing developers to manage object movement directly, optimizing data. Other tools include GayCAD, a CAD system, and TextIt, a texture editor. These tools handle polygon placement, texture application, and 3D modeling details, contributing to various aspects of Grandia's development. This page is all about the Neon Genesis Evangelion digital card library for the SEGA Saturn. It's advertised as a digital card library game and a compilation of content from the anime. The page features a developer interview, the second part in a series, where they discuss the game's development. The developers talk about handling image compression and album design for the project. They mention using Flash SEGA Saturn for demos, which was also being developed simultaneously. They describe the process of editing the video content for the digital card library and the challenges of fitting everything onto a single CD. They mention the content includes both longer scenes and collections of character voices, specifically lines and even screams, which they found interesting to compile. They seem to have put a lot of effort into the editing, aiming to create something enjoyable and polished, despite the difficulties of working with video content at the time. They wrap up by mentioning that the video content is looking very clean and well presented. This page continues the feature on the Neon Genesis Evangelion digital card library and highlights the minigame aspect and video playback features. It introduces the minigame challenge, where players can earn cards by clearing minigames, with one example being Men's Battle. Clearing these challenges rewards you with more cards to add to your collection. The page also details the video playback options, showcasing normal size and enlarged size. It explains that the normal size is the standard playback from the Laserdisc quality source, allowing for animation enjoyment as intended. For those who want a larger picture, there's an enlarged size option, which fills the TV screen, but might slightly reduce image quality. It's emphasized that the high-resolution Cinepack video used ensures great picture quality in both modes. The interview with the developers continues, mentioning the high-quality video content and the inclusion of unaired episodes, specifically episodes 21 to 26, which were not yet available on video or Laserdisc at the time. This digital card library allows fans to enjoy these episodes early. They reiterate the effort put into editing and ensuring the video presentation is polished. Finally, at the bottom, it teases that this issue will introduce 6 minigames in total, encouraging readers to check the next page for more. The Neon Genesis Evangelion digital card library features several minigames. Men's Battle challenges players to memorize and repeat patterns on Commander Ikari's glasses. Decisive Battle, 3rd New Tokyo City, lets you play as Ramiel, attacking Unit 01, with humorous references to Shinji's pain. Magma Diver tasks players with piloting Unit 02 to rescue Sandalphon from a volcano, emphasizing detailed visuals. Developers shared insights. Men's Battle evolved from a simple concept. Decisive Battle was intended to be easy card farming, with a new designer's debut. Magma Diver took a long time to develop, showcasing detailed environments. The Neon Genesis Evangelion digital card library features several minigames. Something Made by Man has players control Unit 01, chasing Jet alone while protecting Misato. Failure to reach Jet alone or a core meltdown results in a game over. After a night of drinking, tasks Shinji with finding beer for a drunk Misato, styled after Lupin III, before she finishes all the beer. Finally, The 15th Child is a puzzle game where players reassemble TV subtitle text, based on the second impression concept. This puzzle game rewards speed but also benefits from exceeding the time limit, potentially with a pen cameo. This page showcases Soul Cradle, a simulation RPG for the SEGA Saturn. It dives into the game's narrative, explaining that in the beginning, the world was one, and people lived in harmony, thankful for the gods. However, as humanity grew and became corrupt, the gods became displeased. The gods then separated the pure-hearted individuals, banishing the corrupted ones to the backside of the world, stripping them of their knowledge of building and prosperity. The gods intended this as a trial for repentance. However, instead of repenting, these banished people became resentful and embraced evil. The evil god, born from this resentment, transformed these inhabitants into monstrous beings, and taught them to build strongholds. Feeling the banished people were beyond saving, the gods sought to rescue the souls of the monsters. From the front world, they chose servants and leaders to guide them. Simultaneously, the evil god also selected servants and leaders to seize divine power and conquer the entire world. The page highlights that saving the monster-like people requires separating human souls from monster bodies. God gathers pure-hearted humans, especially those with strong spiritual power, to act as leaders. The right side panel provides game details, mentioning it's a quintet title slated for release at the end of the year. It's a simulation game recommended for all ages, playable by one player. The text also boasts it as a super realistic simulation RPG, thanks to the Saturn's capabilities, promising more details to be revealed soon. Soul Cradle is a map-clearing simulation RPG where players, as gods, guide units to defeat demons in the backworld. Gameplay involves commanding units to fight monsters and destroy demon shrines or the demon leader. Strategic use of terrain and deployment is crucial. The game features 2 worlds: the front world, gods, humans, and the back world, demons, connected by a portal called the Gate of the Earth. Exploration of the backworld begins after divine servants successfully infiltrate it. A key mechanic is the monster tale and dictionary system. Players decipher monster language by observing their actions and sounds, then registering the meaning in a dictionary. Understanding monster speech allows for tactical advantages. The UI provides contextual information, possibly including directions. An example shows monsters using their language to coordinate attacks, highlighting the system's strategic importance. In Soul Cradle, you command divine servants called Shimobe. These servants, categorized into 6 classes: leader, warrior, archer, magician, monk, and laborer, represent your actions on the map. Each class possesses unique abilities and gender variations. Gaining a servant and class changing them happens upon clearing maps. Levels range from novice to master, with only 1 level up per map, necessitating strategic class choices. The leader, crucial for survival, handles shrine manipulation and construction. Warriors excel in direct combat, while archers provide ranged attacks. Magicians offer ranged offense and defense, although slower. Laborers build structures essential for resource generation and ally healing, assisted by monks. Houses vary in size, impacting their resilience and resource output. Smaller houses can merge to become bigger, while building placement affects their benefits. This page delves into the concept of miracles in Soul Cradle. It explains that while gods can't directly battle monsters, they can influence the world through miracles, which require incantations. Miracles use SP, a resource generated by the faith of the people, specifically, the number of allies living in houses. The page showcases several miracle types. Sunlight is depicted as filling the land with light, likely having a positive effect. Terrain change allows altering the landscape, such as turning plains into mountains or vice versa, affecting both the overworld and underworld maps. Heavy rain is a miracle that brings torrential downpours, turning grasslands into swamps and potentially extinguishing fires. Swampland miracle seems to create ponds and waterways from swamps, which can impact unit movement and combat capabilities. The page emphasizes that terrain significantly influences unit stats, like attack power and movement. Features like swamps, sand, and snow hinder movement, while mountains offer strategic advantages. Miracles can be combined to create various terrain types. For instance, raining on a swamp creates ponds, and then raising ponds creates more swamp. Conversely, drying a swamp with sunlight can revert it back to grassland. This page is dedicated to Immortal Dragon Battle Chaos Seed, a game described as a dungeon and nurturing simulation. It features an interview with Funato Akari, the character designer who previously worked on the Super Famicom version of Chaos Seed and the Lunar series. Funato-san talks about how he got involved with Chaos Seed, mentioning that his illustrations caught the attention of Neverland Company, the developer. He also mentions that he wanted to draw original illustrations after working on Lunar. The page also includes a manga section called Cave Immortal Journal by Funato Akari. This manga humorously explores the game mechanics, focusing on creating rooms with different attributes. In one panel, the character is deciding what kind of attribute room to create, eventually choosing a water attribute room and then a production room. On the right side, game details are listed such as the developer, Neverland Company, a release date of October 23rd, a price of 6,800 yen, and genres including dungeon, nurturing simulation, and suitable for all ages, and is for one player only. Character designer Funato Akari discusses the Chinese style of Immortal Dragon Battle Chaos Seed, highlighting its fresh take on fantasy. He aimed for a visually appealing Chinese image and emphasized color to evoke an Asian atmosphere. Funato favors gloomy characters and admits Aralute, the main female character, evolved during the design process. He finalized the names of the immortal characters early on. The interview also includes a Cave Immortal Journal manga episode, explaining Taoist mages and game mechanics, urging players to learn for themselves. The game features diverse monsters and voiced battles. Funato encourages players to try the game, promising engaging content and thanking readers. A profile reveals Funato's pen name, Utsuki Veruno, who designed the characters, including the deformed ones and immortals, with considerable creative freedom. The Saturn version of Chaos Seed introduces 3 new characters. Izanagi, a skilled strategist with a tragic past, seeks a way to resurrect the dead. Tutenten, the formidable 25-year-old leader of the Donglai Xian Taoist squad, is confident despite her name's unfortunate meaning. Lastly, Tuzoku Shiburu, a reformed thief, embarks on peaceful adventures while expressing a desire to hunt both good and evil. A voice casting section details the actors for various characters, including the heroine, Ryu Reika, Mikai Roshi, Tautenten, Oyu Kusui, and more. The voice acting aims to highlight the unique personalities of the Chaos Seed characters. Dungeon Journal Volume 3 for Chaos Seed features fan feedback and a pre-release popularity poll. The heroine tops the character rankings, followed by the main character and the Third World Teacher. The top 10 also includes Immortal Beast, Gongming Red, and others. The journal includes fan artwork, with developer appreciation. A Q&A reveals the Immortal Beast's potential appearance in Zegul is sales-dependent. A Chaos Seed music CD is planned, featuring rearranged music and a new opening theme. The developers consider name suggestions for main characters. Fans share their experiences, achieving 100% completion in the Super Famicom version, highlighting the difficulty. A reader prize section offers Master Funato Personal Doujinshi as prizes. This page is introducing the first chapter story and main characters of Territory Unknown: The Legend of Musashi. It highlights the character Kisuke, a scissor-tailed rabbit who is described as curious and mischievous. The page details the gameplay system, focusing on event progression. It explains how players can interact with characters by talking to them and asking questions, which is a key feature of the game. A section titled Scene 1 describes a scenario where Musashi encounters a child scissor-tailed rabbit cutting grass in front of a treehouse. The game uses in-game text and character interactions for communication. Another section highlights the save feature. It explains that save points are chairs found within the wooden house, and saving is done by sitting on these chairs. The game displays the playtime and chapter title when saving, making it easy to manage save files. The page suggests this save system makes the game comfortable to play. Scene 2 of Territory Unknown introduces a plaza reached via tree roots, led by Garupu Hakase. Here, you meet two residents, the shy wardrobe man and the talkative, fairy-like Neef. Helping Neef with a new name earns you a horn flute, a key item that makes Neef happy when played. Scene 3 features the giant, sleepy spider Tamu. Talking to Tamu initially fails to wake him. The horn flute is essential. Playing it awakens Tamu, who then becomes talkative. Successfully waking Tamu also awards the bug catcher, a useful item for collecting bugs. The narrative emphasizes the horn flute's importance and the surprising size of the fluffy Tamu. Scene 4 of Territory Unknown focuses on catching the waka-jumping bug, as requested by Garupu Hakase. The player, aided by Tamu Granny, a knowledgeable traveling merchant, learns about bug catching and receives tools. The player has collected 7 Hegeru bugs and 1 waka bug, but none of the other rarer species like Penshirocho. The text provides information about the very hard Jinji leaf grass and describes techniques for effective bug catching, including maintaining distance and managing grass. The page introduces 3 bugs, the common Hegeru, the rare Penshirocho, and the extremely rare Heitena. It emphasizes that more bugs are yet to be discovered. Scene 5 sees the player receiving a blue horn from Dr. Garupu Hakase, used to summon the Hazmi Nezumi, and the introduction of Tamu Granny. She collects bugs, creating specimen mounts for display in the player's home in exchange for bug specimens. Dr. Garupu Hakase catches the bugs. Scene 6 focuses on befriending the Hazmi Nezumi. The horn doesn't work immediately. It must be used where the Hazmi Nezumi was last seen. Summoning it near a roped stone, the player names the Hazmi Nezumi, and it becomes a friend, joining the player from the next chapter. The digest replay summarizes the first chapter, Best Friend of Saijo, highlighting the initial meeting with Dr. Garupu Hakase, the encounter with Tamu Granny, and the bug-catching task. The recap adopts a playful, picture book style. This page introduces us to 2 characters, Tina and Cheryl, who seem to be from a new multi-site adventure game for the SEGA Saturn called Imadiao. It looks like the game is about 99% complete and is scheduled for release on September 11, 1997, priced at 6,800 yen for a 2 Candelas room set. The game is single-player and recommended for players 18 years and older. The page focuses on Tina, describing her as a mysterious girl washed ashore on Desire Island. She's depicted with various expressions, highlighting her emotional range. The text mentions she is always cheerful and energetic, and seems to follow Albert around as if it's her instinct. It also poses questions about her origins and her connection to Albert, hinting at a deeper mystery. On the other side, we see Cheryl, who is voiced by Nishimura Chinami. She's presented in a more professional attire and seems to be a contrasting character to the playful Tina. This text explores the narrative of Desire, focusing on protagonist Albert and the surrounding mysteries. Albert, seeking peace, finds himself entangled with Sylvia and Cheryl at a research facility. The story poses questions about their affections and hints at the ending's romantic outcome. The research, led by Professor Stella, deals with genetic manipulation, with potentially dangerous implications, possibly leading to bioweapons. The text reveals the deaths of Chris and Kazumi, potentially linked to the research and opposed by the military. Finally, Albert's recurring dream is explored, featuring a woman whose identity is unknown. This dream's significance remains a mystery, blurring the lines between memory and premonition. Overall, the page sets the stage for a dramatic story involving romance, dangerous research, and unsolved murders within Desire. This page dives deeper into the world of Desire, introducing us to 3 key female characters. First up is Marlena Sturdvik, described as an isolated researcher. She's seen in a lab setting and even appearing on a screen, hinting at a technologically focused role. Then we have Reiko Kusanagi, the innocent friend, pictured chatting with someone, possibly at a bar, and also in what looks like a research lab, suggesting she's closer to the central action. Lastly, there's Tina, the cute rival, appearing distressed in her screenshots, possibly indicating a vulnerable or challenged position in the story. The page title at the top speaks about the spiral that controls fate, setting a dramatic tone. The text boxes around each character provide snippets of dialogue and descriptions, further fleshing them out. The page concludes by mentioning something about a scholar's spirit and cutting off fate, hinting at the themes of destiny and perhaps academic intrigue within the game's narrative. This page continues exploring the Desire game, focusing on the male characters this time. We are introduced to Makoto Izumi, with the text highlighting her CG scenes and the design concept in the game. Albert Makodgul is next, described as a floating man, with a scene where Makoto is seemingly scolding him. Then there's Kale K. Karts, labeled as a stalker, and we see a somewhat menacing scene with him holding what looks like tape and looking intensely at the camera. Finally, we meet Aaron Fransau, the White Angel, portrayed in a doctor-like or caring role, attending to an injured person. The page also touches upon the mystery of the reaction device, mentioning ecology and environmental engineering in the game's context, and Stella Professor's direct gene manipulation technology in the OWL scenario. It emphasizes that the application to bioweapons is a premise, and OWL makes a shocking confession about it. The page ends by posing the question of what the meaning of the White Confession is, alongside a screenshot of a polygonal CG scene of a facility, possibly related to the Desire project. It sounds like the game delves into some complex themes and character relationships, expanding upon the initial mysteries introduced in the previous page. This page is all about All Japan Pro Wrestling featuring Virtua. It highlights the arrival of a new Edit wrestler named Devil Morinaga, nicknamed Green Snake, who's making waves in All Japan Pro Wrestling with his impressive skills and hidden techniques. The game, All Japan Pro Wrestling featuring Virtua, is hyped for its featuring mode, which is all about the Edit wrestler function, allowing players to create their own wrestlers. It's scheduled for release on October 23rd, a Thursday, and will cost 5,800 yen. It's a 12-player fighting game, where players can create their own wrestlers and aim to become the Triple Crown champion. The page emphasizes the excitement around this feature, calling it a hot topic, and reiterates the release date with a large 10.23 graphic. There's also a screenshot showing the wrestler edit screen and a photo of a wrestler, possibly promoting the game's focus on creating and customizing your own pro wrestler. This page continues to delve into All Japan Pro Wrestling featuring Virtua, focusing on the game's series mode and the rising star, Devil Morinaga. It seems the New Year Giant series has just concluded with a surprising outcome, so much so that even Shohei Baba is smiling about it. Devil, nicknamed Green Snake, is apparently performing exceptionally well, with the headline proclaiming, "Devil is getting better and better." The page highlights the game's skill point provisional system, emphasizing how players can earn these points to teach their custom wrestlers new techniques. This adds a layer of strategic depth to developing your wrestler and learning new moves. There's also a dramatic headline, "Fangs pierce the giant of the world and the blonde wolf," suggesting intense rivalries and challenges within the game's storyline. The page then showcases the in-game yearly schedule, pointing out the importance of the Champion Carnival tournament. The big question posed is whether Devil Morinaga will participate in the upcoming Circa Carnival, with Baba giving his strong approval. However, there are also voices saying it's too early, hinting at potential challenges or storyline developments for Devil's career. The page lists participants in both the New Year Giant series and the Champion Carnival, showcasing the wrestlers involved in these key in-game tournaments. Winning the Champion Carnival is described as a gateway to becoming a top-hittier wrestler within the game. This page highlights Samurai Showdown, IV, Amakusa's Revenge, and boasts about the game's true sword-fighting action featuring 17 warriors, each with 2 distinct sword qualities impacting their performance. The page mentions that selecting a sword quality fundamentally changes a character's abilities and fighting style. The game also features a 3-level selection system, allowing players to customize the gameplay experience based on their skill level. The 3 levels are described as Sword Saint for advanced players focused on speed and unblockable attacks, Sword Warrior as the standard, Balanced Mode, and Sword Guest for beginners, offering simplified controls and weapon-blowing techniques. The page also mentions that this title is the latest in the popular Samurai Showdown series, specifically the 4th installment, and confirms a SEGA Saturn room version is coming soon. The page is promoting the high quality of this port and the deep gameplay the series offers. Featured characters Sogetsu and Kazuki are also shown. This page delves into the intricate gameplay systems of Samurai Showdown IV, Amakusa's Revenge, highlighting what makes its combat unique. It showcases various techniques, like evade and circling, which are crucial for positioning and outmaneuvering opponents, emphasizing strategic movement. Surprise attack is described as an unblockable move, adding another layer to offensive tactics. Defensively, parry and white feather sword catch are featured as ways to counter enemy attacks, showcasing the game's focus on skillful defense and riposte. Moving on to powerful offensive options, Heaven Fall and Drag moves are introduced, demonstrating the game's depth beyond basic attacks. The page also highlights combo systems, with 14-hit combo requiring specific button inputs after a successful hit to unleash devastating chains. For clutch moments, Rage Explosion is presented as a one-time per-match comeback mechanic when in rage mode. Linked slashes and flash are also mentioned as powerful attacks, suggesting a variety of offensive strategies. Finally, the page touches upon the practice mode, detailing its features to help players master these techniques. It seems this mode allows players to adjust CPU behavior and practice special moves, making it essential for honing skills in the game's deep combat system. Overall, the page emphasizes the sophisticated fighting mechanics that Samurai Showdown IV offers beyond just button mashing. This page dives into the world of Wings of the Blue Sky, or Gotha World, as it's also known, a simulation game for the SEGA Saturn. It's set in a unique world called Gotha World, where floating continents are connected by cloud seas, navigated by ships. This new title is presented as a spiritual successor to Gotha Ismaila Warfare, with a revived sea pirate guild taking center stage in the story. The article emphasizes that Wings of the Blue Sky aims to break away from traditional simulation game conventions, particularly by ditching hex-based battlefields for more realistic dogfights between ships. A key feature highlighted is the personal time system, blurring the lines between turn-based and real-time strategy. Character introductions are also featured, presenting the captain, voiced by Dai Tsukamyo, and Laika, the 14-year-old protagonist, voiced by Kenji Ito. Laika is depicted as a talented but reckless pilot. The page showcases screenshots from the game, revealing an in-depth battle interface with weapon selections like cannons and missiles, and gauges indicating world and ship time. The reviewer seems optimistic about Wings of the Blue Sky, bringing fresh air to the simulation game genre on the Saturn. We also get details like it's a 2-Kudram set, rated for all ages, priced at 6,800 yen, and scheduled for release on November 13th. Wings of the Blue Sky introduces a personal time system to enhance its turn-based strategy gameplay, aiming for a more dynamic feel. The game utilizes world time, which progresses continuously, and ship time, unique to each unit. Players plan actions during ship time, and these actions then execute in world time, creating constant on-screen action. Screenshots showcase the interface and time-costed commands. The page also introduces 3 characters. Krishna, the 31-year-old seasoned merchant and ship captain, reprises a role from the previous game. Irina, a 16-year-old heroine with a mysterious past, and Ragwar, the masked 53-year-old boss of the Sea Pirate Guild, are also revealed. This page is an advertisement for a crudram featuring the singer Chisato Moritaka, titled Watarase Bridge, Lala Sunshine. Marketed as a must-have item for fans, it contains a wealth of video content, including music videos, commercials, interviews, and live footage, totaling over 74 minutes. The crudram is described as a database-like software filled with Chisato Moritaka's representative songs and valuable footage, praised by PC users for songs like Sweet Candy. It includes a user-friendly interface designed to match the world of her music. The content is categorized into video clips, interviews, and spot commercials. Video clips include titles like Watarase Bridge, Hai Otoko, Kaze ni Fukarete, Rockin' Omelet, and Subarashiki Jinsei Birthday. Interviews are listed with titles like Waterase Bridge 01, Waterase Bridge 02, and Waterase Bridge 03, alongside other topics. Spot commercials feature songs such as Natsu no Hi, Kaze ni Fukarete, Rockin' Omelet, Subarashiki Jinsei Birthday, Futari Hakoibito, Yasumi no Gogo, So Blue, La La Sunshine, and Jiniro no Yume. It promises high-quality video playback, previously unattainable on Cledrom, enhancing the viewing experience. It is a 2-disc set and was released on September 11, 1997 for 6,800 yen. This page is an introduction to the contents of the 2-disc SATURN set. Disc 1 is packed with interview and video clip content, featuring 7 songs worth of data, showcasing interviews, and CD jacket designs for each song. It emphasizes the visually rich and uniquely designed interface. We get a glimpse of music videos like Water Race Bridge and Rockin' Omelette through screenshots. Disc 1 also offers a behind-the-scenes look into the recording studio, with singing scenes and interviews revealing the secrets of Chisato Moritaka's music creation. Moving on to Disc 2. This disc is loaded with best album and photo collection data. It covers representative songs from 1995 to 1997, including 5 music videos, CD jacket images, along with best album content, photo collections, and live footage. There is also mention of unreleased footage and bonus videos that appear after you've gone through all the main content. The page shows examples of the photo collection and the La La Sunshine interface. Both Disc 1 and 2 share a unified interface design that reflects the world of the music, with La La Sunshine given as an example of how the interface changes between day and night, affecting visuals and music, synchronized with the internal clock. Winning Post 2 Final 97, a horse racing simulation arriving soon, is positioned as the ultimate in the series. Releasing on October 2nd for 6,800 yen, it's suitable for all ages and includes password saving and 2-player battles. Set in the year 2000, the game focuses on building relationships within the racing world alongside the horses, spanning 30 years of gameplay. Key features include a high-quality opening movie and the inclusion of 25 real-life jockeys like Yutaka Take, enhancing realism. The game provides detailed jockey performance data. Players will navigate the game through secretary, racehorse, and jockey selection phases, with screenshots provided for each. The tagline hints at the player's search for famous 21st century horses. This guide to Winning Post 2 Final 97 explains the core gameplay loop for horse owners. The game revolves around 3 key locations: the stable, the racetrack, and the farm. The stable is where you manage training, race scheduling, and gather information. The racetrack lets you scout rivals, bet, and socialize. The farm is crucial for managing horses, including breeding and assessing young prospects. Race day is a thrilling experience, even though you don't directly control your horse. You can prepare by studying predictions and observing horses. The guide also introduces the annual horse auction. Here, you buy young horses, with top-quality horses commanding high prices. It emphasizes the importance of affordability and listening to your trainer's advice during the initial phase. This page is all about J.League Pro Soccer Club O Tsukuru 2, or Sakatsuku 2 as it's known for short. It's presented as a sequel in the Tsukuru series, following professional baseball team O Tsukuru. The page features interviews with the development team Ohashi Osamu, who is the planner, Matsura Su, the producer, and Hirano Eiji, also a producer. They discuss the pressure of following up the baseball game and their commitment to making Sakatsuku 2 even better. They talk about how they see the Tsukuru series as a brand that users can rely on. The team mentions they aim to make the game enjoyable for a wide range of players and have considered user feedback in development. There's a comparison made between the soccer and baseball versions, highlighting that while the systems are similar, they are distinct enough to offer different experiences. They mention taking inspiration from the high quality of the original Sakatsuku game. The screenshots show in-game interfaces, including team management screens with player stats and formations, and also in-match gameplay footage. The bottom right section of the page highlights key features of Sakatsuku 2, emphasizing the deeper player development and the ability to play against friends using password systems. The interviewees express excitement about the game and hope players will enjoy the improvements. This page continues the discussion on the Tsukuru series, specifically highlighting the developers of J.League Pro Soccer Club O Tsukuru 2, or Sakatsuku 2. The page features interviews with the designers Kawai Ryuko and Sato Katsuhiko. They talk about their design philosophies, aiming to create a game where players can realize their dreams, much like the concept of the original professional baseball team, O Sukuru. There's a section discussing the core concept, emphasizing how the game allows players to achieve their dreams in sports management, mentioning both soccer and baseball. They even hint at future Sukuru games potentially exploring themes beyond sports, like creating idols. The screenshots showcase gameplay elements like facility management, where you can build restaurants, parking lots, hotels, amusement parks, and towers to improve your team's infrastructure. The designers also point out the realistic player animations and movements, and the hidden surprises within the game system. The page also includes comments from SEGA AM development staff expressing their excitement for the Tsukuru series and asking for player support. They emphasize that Saskatsuku 2 has doubled the enjoyment, focusing on deeper player development and the ability to play against friends using passwords. The developers express their confidence that Sakatsuku 2 will be a great game, continuing the success of the Tsukuru series and aiming to deliver a high-quality experience for players. This page continues showcasing J.League Pro Soccer Club O Tsukuru 2, revealing more about the game's features. It's all about the secrets of the secretaries, with images of them in action. First up, we have Tachibana Emi, Secretary number 1. She's shown in the office, walking around and giving commands. The reviewer is excited to see her animated in this way, saying it's great to see her move, and wonder what kind of instructions she'll provide in the game. Next we meet Takanaka Miho, Secretary number 2. She's described as having a short haircut and appearing in the game's window. The screenshot here shows the hometown selection screen, where you choose your team's base. Secretary number 3 is Matilda Tracy. She's involved in stadium expansion and explains game mechanics through the window interface. The screenshot displays the office menu, showcasing options like schedule progression, clubhouse, stadium, personnel, facilities, research room, and records/settings. The reviewer mentions her poise and mysterious abilities, and that her individual movements seem unique. Finally, the page highlights goal replays, a new feature in this sequel. Compared to the previous game's simple replays, Sakatsuku 2 offers enhanced replays with slow motion and different camera angles. This allows for a better look at crucial moments and helps in analyzing player performances. The reviewer seems impressed with this improvement for checking player skills. This page continues to delve into J.League Pro Soccer Club O Tsukuru 2 and focuses on the exciting commentary aspects and realistic game details. First, it highlights Hiroshi Yakihata as the main commentator, noting his background as a popular NHK announcer known for sports broadcasting. The page mentions that there are 3 commentary patterns in the game, utilizing different combinations of commentators to keep things fresh, including combinations of Yakihata, Kazumasa, Kimura, and Mizunuma. Next, it introduces Kazumasa Kimura as another commentator. He's described as a former star striker for Yokohama Marinos, bringing player insight to the commentary booth. The page emphasizes that his commentary will offer a player's perspective and be both precise and in-depth. Adding to the commentary team is Pantanietta Girolamo, the pitch reporter, who is described as being from Naples, Italy. Fans might recognize his voice from Victory Goal 97, another Sega soccer game. In Sakatsuku 2, Girolamo is the pitch reporter, delivering passionate reports from the sidelines, enhancing the game's excitement and realism. Finally, the page points out the attention to detail in depicting rainy weather. It explains that when players run on a rain-soaked pitch, water splashes realistically, which is a feature rarely seen in games, and adds to the immersive experience. The reviewer seems impressed with this level of realism. There is a player comment mentioning the game's replay feature, player development, and transfer system as interesting and enjoyable aspects beyond just regular soccer games. This page highlights Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team, another entry in the Tsukuro series, inviting players to become the owner of a professional baseball team. The page emphasizes the game's concept, where you nurture a real pro baseball team, choosing from a selection of teams like the Blue Wave Fighters, Lions, Buffaloes, and many more, and bring them to your chosen hometown from 500 locations across the country to build your very own franchise. Key features mentioned include it being a Sega yearly release, the price being undecided at the time, password battles being available, and that it is a sports training simulation. Screenshots showcase team selection, team name customization, and home-based decisions, demonstrating the initial setup process where you get to create a baseball team that is uniquely yours. The text also points out that even the coaches are based on real-life figures, adding to the game's realism. Overall, the page is enthusiastically promoting the game's team creation and management aspects. This page gives you some pro tips on how to build your ultimate baseball team in Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team. It dives into the management side of things, explaining that winning games is important, but good management is essential for victory. It breaks down the management menu, which includes options like personnel to acquire and release players, management display for stadium and PR, information to check player data, practice instructions to set training policies, settings and records, and schedule progression to move through the game. The page then talks about the pennant race and what you should be doing in February and March before the season starts. February is camp season, and it suggests picking a camp location carefully, like Okinawa or Hawaii, as locations and costs vary. It says camp is crucial for player preparation, and then March is for open games, which are for fine-tuning before the season starts in April. There are two check sections. One mentions that a Dodgers outfielder supervised the game, highlighting the game's realism and how it captures the essence of baseball. The other, check, section talks about how trendy sports can impact your spectator numbers, advising you to keep an eye on other sports trends to keep fans coming to baseball games. This page continues the feature on Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team. It details the excitement of the pennant race opening and encourages players to aim for victory each day. The game season is structured, with each month consisting of 8 turns, and each turn featuring 3 games. You get to watch the games unfold with charming characters, and can choose to watch highlights. Even after the season ends, the work continues. The game includes postseason activities like selecting standout players, announcing the MVP, draft meetings to scout new talent, and negotiating contracts with free agents. There's a check section, highlighting the game results are featured in sports news within the game. Just like real life, sports news programs air around 10:30 p.m., and you can catch the game highlights on TV channels in the game too. The game emphasizes checking the rankings and your team's condition regularly. Finally, there is the second part of a developer interview. The development staff discuss how they aimed to make the game as realistic as possible, mirroring actual pro baseball flow. They touch upon the challenges of creating realistic character movements and expressions, mentioning something called cap carrying. They want players to enjoy managing their team and experiencing the highs and lows of a baseball season. They highlight the game will be playable at game shows, inviting people to come and experience it. This page is diving deep into Chunsoft's highly anticipated sound novel, Machi, which is only about 2 months away from release. It's being touted as a sound novel masterpiece, and they're giving us a special 3-part report to explore its appeal. The first section focuses on the scenario by Yasufumi Ichikawa, called Dinger's Hand. It's described as mysterious, terrifying, illusionary, and dreamlike, something previously unseen in his work. Actor Duncan is playing the main character, Ichikawa, and it seems his fate is tied to these nightly illusions. Next up, they explain a unique game mechanic called Lock End. It's not just about branching storylines in Machi. Making the wrong choices can actually lead to a game over, a lock end. They pose the question of whether players can avoid these tricky situations. Finally, they spotlight Hideyuki Nagasaka, another key scenario writer. He has a background in creating popular tokusatsu shows like Kikaider and Kaitu Zubat. They emphasize his extensive experience and how it contributes to the appeal of Machi. The page also mentions the game is about 90% complete and is planned for release on October 30th, priced at 5,800 yen, and coming on 2 creeds as a sound novel. They wrap up by saying they will be serially introducing everyone's favorite masterpieces. Machi, a sound novel by Chunsoft, features the Dinger's Hand scenario, a psycho-horror story critiquing the TV industry's ethics. The protagonist, Ichikawa Bunsei, played by Duncan, is a frustrated TV drama writer with literary ambitions. The article details Ichikawa's struggles, forced to create low-quality content under various pen names like Nakajima Katsuo, to meet deadlines, highlighting his inner conflict. The game aims to expose the TV industry's hidden conscience. According to developer Nagasaka Hideyuki, he references his tokusatsu background, including Kikaider and Kaitu Zubat, as influencing the game. A character named Kibori, a TV producer, hints at a deeper exploration of industry dynamics within the game. The article provides images of Duncan, Hideyuki, and example in-game text showcasing the writer's different pen names. This page continues to delve into the Schrodinger's hand scenario of the sound novel Machi. It explains that the title Schrodinger's hand relates to Schrodinger's cat paradox, implying uncertainty about reality and the protagonist Ichikawa's actions. The subtitle itself suggests he may be unaware of his own existence. The scenario explores whether everything is Ichikawa's delusion or if something else is at play, creating a sense of mystery and shifting narratives. The article describes how Ichikawa's literary works mysteriously vanished and are replaced with something else when he wakes up, emphasizing the surreal and unsettling nature of the story. It highlights the human drama within the TV industry, introducing characters involved in Ichikawa's scenario. Featured characters are Suega Akiko, 27, Ichikawa's lover, and an office worker; Kibori Fukuru, 42, a TV producer; Zuru Well, 38, a station producer; and Kabasawa, 43, a TV program director. These characters represent the complex relationships and pressures within the TV industry. Developer Kondo Hideaki discusses the unique visual presentation, emphasizing the psychological depiction and aiming for a cinematic, expressionistic style rather than flashy effects. He mentions that the game has around 600,700 cuts of video, heavily processed to match the scenario's dreamlike quality and psychological depth, promising a new frontier in-game visuals and immersive storytelling. This page introduces the lock-end system in Machi, explaining it's a new type of unexpected ending that isn't just triggered by your choices, but also by conditions in other characters' scenarios. It's highlighted as something beyond simple branching paths. The page uses an example to illustrate how a lock-end occurs, focusing on the characters Hosoi Miko and Meibe Jintaro. Miko, a diet girl, obsessed with dieting, becomes a cautionary character, because her actions can influence other scenarios. The example shows Miko tempted to eat cake, and this choice impacts Meibe's scenario, leading to a lock-end. To avoid a lock-end, the article advises players to think back to the situation where Meibe gets a bag, implying it's related to Miko's cake decision. The solution is to return to Miko's scenario, change her choice, and then proceed with Meibe's scenario again. This suggests that understanding the interconnectedness of character scenarios is key to navigating the lock-end system in Machi. This page dives into the works of Hideyuki Nagasaka, a master scriptwriter, and how his style connects to the game Machi. It highlights Nagasaka's career from his early days at NHK to becoming a renowned writer known for his dramatic storytelling, especially in tokusatsu hero shows. The article emphasizes that the core of Nagasaka's work is drama that touches the heart, which is seen as the true essence of his creations. It spotlights his famous Android Kikaider and Kikaider 01 series, mentioning their original broadcast periods in the 70s, and later releases on VHS and LD. The page also includes a table that lists many of Nagasaka's early TV works, showcasing his extensive contributions to shows like Return of Ultraman, Android Kikaider, Kamen Rider X, and many more during that era. Interestingly, it points out a hidden connection within Machi to Nagasaka's past work. The ring name, White Crow, used by the character Amemiya Katsuma in Machi, is actually derived from the name of Hokkaider's bike in Kikaider. This reveals a subtle nod to Nagasaka's iconic hero creations within the world of Machi, showing how his themes of drama are deeply woven into even his latest works. This page announces the final decision on the title for the Hudson Soft fan page, settling on Buying and Selling Hudson after 6 months of deliberation. The title aims to provoke thought about the meaning of buying and the reader's own feelings, marking this as the last installment of the page. The page features a Painter Outbreak section, showcasing reader-submitted artwork. There's a drawing of a woman and a dog, referencing the legend of the 8 dog warriors, a Bomberman illustration incorporating a bee, and various other character drawings with brief comments from their creators. In the Mojanetta section, readers send in requests and questions to Hudson Soft. Highlights include a plea to release the FX game Team Innocent on SEGA Saturn, along with Star Pero Alpha, and a request for a simultaneous multi-platform release of Far East of Eden 3. Questions are also posed about a Far East of Eden side story continuation, and the rumored 3-part Saturn version of Far East of Eden. The page also introduces the theme song for the game Virus, mentioning that Favorite Blue performs the cool opening demo song, True Gate, which is available as a single CD. Lastly, The Ichigaya Fraulein segment presents an interview with Noriko Kageyama from Hudson's advertising department. She discusses her work, her love for movies, and reveals her type of ideal man is someone who is skilled at video games. This page is an advertisement for the Sega Saturn game, Koi no Summer Fantasy in Miyazaki Sigaya, starring the popular idol Okina Megumi. It's a virtual dating sim set in the Miyazaki Sigaya resort, promising a 4-day romantic adventure. The game boasts a free scenario system, letting you plan your dates as you like. Megumi's expressions change based on your conversations, and you'll need to capture her heart by choosing the right things to say. Dates are presented with movie-like scenes to enhance the experience. Your relationship with Megumi is tracked with parameters, and you'll need to remember promises for future dates. The outcome and ending all depend on your choices and gameplay. The ad also mentions a special promotion running from June 20th to August 31st, where buying the game and a Sega Saturn console together will get you a free Cool Pad at participating stores, while supplies last, of course. This page showcases the Victor Twin Operator, a peripheral for the Sega Saturn from Victor. It's highlighted as a device that allows you to enjoy video crids and photo crids on your Saturn. The ad emphasizes ease of use, stating in one that simply plugging it into the Saturn lets you play video crids and photo crids. 2 details enhanced video CD operation with features like automatic playback, easy-to-use controls, smooth searching, and compatibility with both NTSC and PAL formats. 3 boasts MPEG compatibility for games and anime, promising higher quality video playback, particularly for MPEG-compatible game software and anime scenes. The new section at the bottom right introduces it as the Video CD and Photo CD Twin Operator, RGVC3, priced at 18,000 yen. There's also an emergency announcement at the bottom, promoting RPG titles for the Saturn coming in November, mentioning legendary RPG titles are revived on Saturn. Game boxes for Dragon Slayer and Xanadu are shown as examples. This page continues with the advertisement for the Victor Twin Operator RGVC3, highlighting it as the new package and new price option to easily enjoy video crids and photo crids on the Sega Saturn. It emphasizes its simple plug-in and play operation. The ad mentions that video CD software is abundant, boasting over 2,500 titles as of May 1997. It also promotes MPEG-compatible game software as continuously being released. Specifically mentioned are MPEG-dedicated game software titles, including Lunar, Silver Star Story MPEG version, Mooncradle, Battle Barva, Kishin Dead Heat plus Real Arrange, and Sakura Wars, Flower Mail Order Communication. The advert also mentions MPEG-compatible game software, generally indicating a broader range of games will work with the Twin Operator for enhanced video playback. The bottom of the page has an initial press limited edition announcement for Falcom Classics, mentioning a special CD with voice drama and character footage included in the first pressing, available as a 2-disc set for 6,800 yen, or a standard 1-disc set for 5,800 yen. This page showcases a full-page advertisement for the Sega Saturn game, Tilk, the Blue Littoral. It's described as a simulation RPG, set to be released in November, priced at 6,800 yen. The page uses the tagline, "Sparkling Sea, momentarily breaking through," and text that evokes a nostalgic feeling of childhood adventures and memorable moments. Visually, the page features character artwork in a classic anime style. We can see a group of young characters, including the titular Tilk, who appears to be a girl, with short blonde hair and a distinctive outfit. The overall tone is bright and adventurous, fitting the Blue Sea theme. The advert also details a pre-release campaign called Tilk Release Commemoration Campaign. By sending in the included questionnaire postcard from the Sega Saturn software Tilk, participants can enter a lottery to win prizes. Prize A is a Fujifilm New System camera, Epion 10 for 10 winners, touted as a popular APS camera to vividly capture memories. Prize B is a TGL original telephone card for 200 winners, described as an original telephone card featuring the company's software, with the specific design being a surprise. The application deadline is February 28, 98, with entries valid if postmarked by that date. The bottom of the page also includes website information for TGL and details about joining the Dream Color Club fan club. The next page introduces MechWarrior 2 Arcade Combat Edition for the Sega Saturn. The tagline is, "If it's that child, It's the battlefield again, and it's clearly labeled as the Arcade Combat Edition. The ad copy talks about the immersive 3D cockpit, digital surround sound, and high-resolution graphics. It paints a picture of futuristic battlefields where players become mech warriors, taking on tough missions to prove their skills. The release is set for early September, and the price is 5,800 yen. You can also see publisher logos for Quantum Factory, Activision, and FESA, and standard copyright details from around 1997. This page is showcasing the upcoming release of Graduation S for the SEGA Saturn, a school-themed simulation game scheduled for September and priced at 6,800 yen. They're advertising a special limited edition box of Graduation S with only 40,000 copies available, which includes a student handbook and a school badge. This page also mentions the Tokyo Game Show 97 autumn event, inviting readers to visit the NEC Interchannel booth. Besides Graduation S, they're promoting other titles in the NEC Interchannel lineup, including Dukyusei 2, described as a love adventure simulation, and Magical Girl Pretty Sammy, which is presented as a multi-scenario digital comic game. Dukyusei 2 is listed at 7,900 yen, while Magical Girl Pretty Sammy is priced at 6,800 yen, just like Graduation S. This magazine section features reader submissions and announcements. Weekly notice board bids farewell to summer and playfully urges students to study. A reader plans to convert others to the SEGA Saturn. The Love Name Recruitment seeks name suggestions for a cute character, offering a Saturn game as a prize. Readers Plaza showcases diverse experiences. A capsule toy surprise, a mistaken SEGA ad, omelet recipes, reactions to games like Tokimeki Memorial, and humorous tales of spoiled food and a real sound game's impact. This week's See It, Let's Do It highlights Nights into Dreams, featuring game art. Finally, a comic strip uses Doraemon characters to humorously illustrate the complexities of industry jargon. Reader submissions to SEGA Saturn magazine reveal diverse opinions. Saturn Users Plaza showcases a reader from Osaka praising Sega's appeal to maniac gamers and their distinctiveness compared to competitors. They defend Sega against criticism, valuing their unique charm. The Transplanted Software Information section features a Kumamoto reader expressing mixed feelings about porting games, preferring original Saturn titles, and urging Sega to prioritize unique content. Another reader from Shizuoka requests replacement CD cases. Short comics include humorous Sonic cosplays, a cute frog comic, and dramatic scenes, alongside a reader's corner detailing gaming habits and family life. The magazine ends with a short section on playtime and family commitments, including a funny story. This page has a section called Gamer's Wisdom, which offers some unusual tips. One is a remedy for removing thorns from your foot using pickled plums, and another is a cooking tip for making delicious yakisoba by loosening the noodles with beer instead of water. Then there's Heart's Friends, where readers share their heartfelt Sega game memories. One reader from Akita Prefecture talks about Linkle Liver Story, mentioning its appealing characters and impressive graphics, recommending it even if it wasn't a big seller. Another reader from Ehime Prefecture praises Magical Drop 2i for its addictive puzzle gameplay and charming characters, suggesting it stands out even amongst other puzzle games, and highlighting its versus and communication modes. The King of Submissions Current Points section lists the top contributors to the magazine. There are also a couple of cartoon panels. One features a cute, mischievous character exclaiming about being a nuisance but still cute. The other panel mentions a puzzle game and voice acting, with a character making a strange noise. Finally, Rumor is True delves into game rumors, specifically about Princess Crown. It seems if you buy the game, you get a special sticker of the developer and lots of paper dolls as bonuses. There's also a rumor that prizes from pachinko machines are better than event prizes, and that a game called Warp's Diet Game Rolly Zero is coming out. The Park Gallery features reader-submitted artwork. Highlights include a cute drawing from Nara Prefecture, a Dead and Moro rocker, No 2 illustration from Osaka, a Grandia fan art from Shiman, and a Baroque submission from Tokushima. Additional entries showcase Strong Dragon user breeder, Saitama, Neon Genesis Evangelion art, Fukuoka and Hokkaido, and Dead or Alive art, Tokyo. The This Week's Best features Top Skater from Toyama. The gallery also features submissions from Aichi. Submission guidelines require black ink or easily readable colors, address screen tones, and prohibit color illustrations. Include your PN/phone number. Points will not be added for certain issues, and 1 point will be given on postcards as an apology. Prize details will be announced later. Submissions are to be sent to SEGA Saturn Magazine in Tokyo, with a mascot encouraging postcard submissions. This page is an application form for an original SEGA Saturn Magazine telephone card, and it's an all-applicant service, meaning everyone who applies will get one. You can choose from 15 different designs featuring various games. The designs include titles like the ever-popular Sonic, the Hedgehog, the epic RPG Grandia, fighting games like the King of Fighters, Tushinden, Virtual Star Strike, Cyberbots, and Samurai Showdown. IV. Amakusa's Revenge. RPG fans can also choose from Langrisser IV and Lunar. Silver Star Story. Other options include Macross. Do you remember Love? Yuno. A Girl Who Chants Love at the Bound of This World. Quiz Nanero Dreams, and Roommate Ryoko in Summer Vacation. There's also a title listed as Jackie and Dutch Viper and Slayers, which might be related to those franchises. To apply, you need to cut out the application form, fill in your address, name, and phone number, and select your desired telephone card design. You'll need to send it in with an 80 yen stamp and a 700 yen postal money order by September 30th. The form also includes important notes about handling the postal money order, ensuring you fill out the form correctly, and being aware of potential delays in delivery. This page is all about SEGA Saturn strategy guides, calling itself a solution to players' problems. It's basically an advertisement highlighting various official guidebooks available for popular Saturn games. They've got a big list of games like Virtua Cop, Virtua Fighter, Fighting Vipers, Fighters, Megamix, Victory Goal 96, and World Advanced War, listing the different guide types available for each, like official guidebooks, perfect files, and manuals, along with their prices and publishers. It looks like they're covering a wide range of genres, from fighting games to strategy titles. There's also a section promoting the latest Sega news, mentioning their Sega Facts Club for up-to-date info, and Sega Internet Navi, highlighting the Sega Saturn homepage with game demos and event news. Finally, there's a little bit about Flash SEGA Saturn, which seems to be a video magazine. Volume 20 is showcased with titles like Symphony of Illusion and Dream on Air Waiting for You, and others, presented in a VHS video format. In the Sonic Stadium Q&A, Sega addresses reader inquiries. One reader seeks Saturn repair advice, and Sega suggests contacting customer service for potential CD-ROM issues. Another asks about House of the Dead. High scores, and Sega promises to get the information. A reader expresses concern about the Saturn's ports. Sega hints at new Shining Force titles, including a simulation, RPG, Shining Force 2i. The Sega Public Relations Daily Log details staff activities. Take-chan attended a radio show event, highlighting new Evangelion and Super Robot Wars titles. Dessler de Hirano prepares for a Ceph.2i presentation amidst tech challenges. Honey Hanatani anticipates the Autumn Game Show and a highly anticipated Mega Drive RPG. The page also includes a call for postcard submissions and a Sega Press present, offering Neon Genesis Evangelion posters as prizes. This page is dedicated to Warp and its head, Kenji Ino, and features a fan letter and illustrations by Ino. The page opens with a fan letter praising Warp's games, particularly D and Enemy Zero, and reveals the writer became a Warp employee because of their admiration, even joking about prioritizing work over a relationship. Kenji Ino's response includes casual conversation about sound design and Enemy Zero, hinting at detailed work and playfully reacting to the employee's breakup. A profile of a new Warp employee, Yuriho Orisaki, a 24-year-old game geek, follows. The page concludes with the Ino Kenji illustration special feature, featuring caricatures drawn by Ino of various individuals, each with a name, location, and a brief comment. The address of SEGA Saturn Magazine at SoftBank, Tokyo, is provided. This page presents the SEGA Saturn Software Databank, a comprehensive guide to SEGA Saturn games from November 22, 1994 to August 28, 1997. It's designed to give readers an overview of available software. The page explains that the ratings are based on total reader votes and reviewer scores, where a hyphen indicates unreviewed software. NX signifies games for mature audiences. The page is essentially a giant table, listing games released month by month, starting with November 1994 and going up to September 1995. For each game, it provides details such as the release date, title, developer, price, genre, reader score, magazine reviewer score, and compatibility notes, like whether it supports peripherals such as a mouse or handle controller, or is rated 18+. Notable games mentioned in the tables include Virtua Fighter, Myst, Clockwork Knight, Victory Goal, Pebble Beach Golf Links, Rampo, Emit Series, Didairos, Side Pocket 2, Daytona USA, Virtua Heidelide, Super Real Mahjong, Grand Chaser, Battle Monsters, Game no Tatsujin, Pretty Fighter X, Darkseid, Virtua Fighter Remix, and Clockwork Knight 2. The databank provides a snapshot of the SEGA Saturn software library during this period, offering a quick reference for gamers looking for information on various titles, their genres, and critical reception. It's a dense page, packed with data for SEGA Saturn enthusiasts. This page continues the SEGA Saturn software databank, listing games released from December 1995 through May 1996. It's still in a table format, detailing release dates, game titles, developers, prices, genres, reader and reviewer scores, and compatibility notes. December 1995 titles include games like Virtua Fighter, CG Portrait Series featuring Sarah Bryant, Rayman, and X-Men, Children of the Atom. January 1996 highlights games such as Professional Mahjong Gokumai Sis and a Mahjong-era game, alongside Creature Shock and Street Fighter Zero. February 1996 features titles like Matsukata Hiroki's World Fishing and Return to Zork. March 1996 includes more games like World Advanced Strategy, Gungriffon, and Idol Janshi Special. April 1996 lists titles such as Thor and the intriguing Idol Project Radio Kiss. Finally, May 1996 features games like Year of Puberty, and Cubic Gallery. This page continues to provide a comprehensive overview of the SEGA Saturn software library during this period, offering a handy reference for gamers wanting to explore the diverse range of titles released month by month. This page continues the SEGA Saturn software databank, now listing games released in June, July, August, September, and October of 1996. June 1996 saw releases like Metal Black and Sword and Sorcery. July highlights include titles such as Darius 2 and Hyper Rev. August has games like Body Special, 264 Girls in Motion Puzzle, Volume 2, and World Heroes Perfect. September features games like Aksha Soccer and Jewels of Oracle, and October's listings include titles like Digital Pinball, Necronomicon, and Tri-Rush Depi. The page maintains the table format from previous listings, detailing each game's release date, title, developer, price, genre, reader and reviewer scores, and compatibility notes. Like the previous page, it's a useful resource for SEGA Saturn enthusiasts wanting to track the releases and see the critical reception of titles from this period. This page continues the SEGA Saturn software databank, covering releases from November 1996 to March 1997. November 1996 saw the release of Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story 1, The Blue Destiny, which got good scores from both readers and reviewers. Also out in November was Thunder Force Gold Pack 2 and Super Puzzle Fighter 2X, both popular arcade conversions. December highlights included Fighters Megamix, which received very high scores and was a standout title. Nissan Presence Overdriven GTR was also released for racing fans, noted for its compatibility with racing wheels. In January 1997, RPG fans got Shining the Holy Ark, while racing enthusiasts saw the release of Street Racer Extra. Fire Pro Wrestling 6-Men Scramble also made its debut in January, receiving strong reader scores. February 1997 was a busy month, with titles like Lode Runner, Extra scoring very high with reviewers. Far East of Eden. The Apocalypse IV also came out, noteworthy for its modem compatibility for online play. Psychic Killer Teramaru also launched this month and achieved impressive review scores. Capcom's Mega Man 8, known as Rockman 8 Metal Heroes in Japan, was also released. Finally, March 1997 included Puzzle League, known as Panel de Pawn Story, Cologne no Taiyu in Japan, and Alice in Wonderland, Angelique, appealing to fans of strategy RPGs. This SEGA Saturn software databank update covers game releases from June to early September 1997. June featured a diverse selection, including Martian successor Nadesico, Civilization, and racing and fighting titles like Stakes Winner 2 and Groove On Fight. July saw releases such as Bridal Disc, Magical Drop 2 Eyes, and titles like Waku Waku 7 and Mr. Bones, covering action, strategy, and sports genres. August brought Lunar, Silver Star Story, Tokimeki Memorial, and sports games like NHL 97, along with action titles like Doom and Blunk Slash. Early September saw the release of games such as Angel Graffiti Sims, Virtua Cop 2, and Kian Kian Bunny, and concluded with titles covering various genres, including puzzle, sports, and dating sims. This databank index lists SEGA Saturn games, organized by Japanese syllabary and the English alphabet. The A section includes games like Astal and Aquarium simulators, while Ka features Gale Runner and Gungrafon. Sa lists Gradius Deluxe Pack and Golden Axe. The Duel Ta covers Side Pocket 2, Sakura Wars, and the King of Fighters titles, while Na highlights Even Burst Error and Virtual Hidelight. Other sections showcase games like Area 51, Ha, Marine Date Deisensu, Ma, Quiz Nanero Dreams, Ya, and Cat the Ripper, Ra. Games starting with X, N, and NBA are also included, indicating a wide variety of genres, from action and sports to adult titles. The index is designed to facilitate easy game discovery within the databank. This page continues the SEGA Saturn software databank, moving through the Japanese syllabary. Starting with the Se and So sounds, we see titles like Sega International Victory Goal, and various Sega Ages titles like Outrun, Afterburner 2, and Fantasy Zone. There's also Sega Ages Volume 1 and Volume 2 compilation discs, and titles like Sega Rally Championship and Sexy Parodius. Moving on, we see Sonic Wings Special and Sonic Jam. The page then moves into the Ta, Chi, Tsu, Te, and Tu sections. Notable games in Ta include Darkseid and Derby Analyst. Chi includes titles like and Tsu, features titles like Te, has D no Shokutaku, known internationally as D, and Tu features games like Deslotl, Destruction Derby, Death Mask, and Daytona USA Circuit Edition. We also see Tomb Raiders, which is Tomb Raiders internationally, and Tokimeki Memorial Games, alongside titles like Dodonpachi and Dragon Force. The page lists a wide variety of genres, from racing and shooting to adventure and simulation games, presented in a straightforward data format. This SEGA Saturn software databank covers games from Ha to Wa in the Japanese alphabet. The Ha section includes various Virtua Fighter games, virtual sports titles like Virtual On, and notable games such as Resident Evil and High Octane. It also features Japanese titles, puzzle games, Panzer Dragoon, sports games, and Sailor Moon. Subsequent sections, High through Ho, contain games like Fighters, Megamix, Fighting Vipers, and the Puyo Puyo series. Ma through Mo include Masters Augusta 3, Metal Slug, and Mortal Kombat 2. The later sections, Ya through RO, present games like Rise of the Robots 2, Rayman, Road Rash, and Rockman. The databank concludes with the Wa section, showcasing games like Worms and Wipeout, ultimately offering a comprehensive overview of the SEGA Saturn's diverse game library. This page highlights official guidebooks for various SEGA titles. The Last Bronx official guide offers a complete walkthrough, character information, interviews, and storyboards for 1,300 yen. The Top Skater Trick Book provides skating techniques, including hidden character commands, and is a portable guide for 650 yen. The Sonic Jam official guide, priced at 1,300 yen, features Sonic's return to the SEGA Saturn. The Zero Yan Champ Doozy J Perfect Guide, priced at 1,100 yen, covers tuning, RPG strategies, and hidden data for both PlayStation and SEGA Saturn. Lastly, the Magical Girl Pretty Sammy official guide provides comprehensive coverage of the game, including character details and news for 1,500 yen. This page showcases two interesting games. Up top we have Kiseki no Shima Monogatari for the SEGA Saturn, which translates to something like Tale of the Island of Miracles or Story of the Island of Miracles. It's billed as an adventure RPG under the direction of Keita Amemiya, and it's brought to us by Jibro Cloud Buddies 25 Enix. Below that, we see Astro Noka for the PlayStation. This one is a bit different, described as a space crop cultivation and vermin extermination simulation. Noka means farmer in Japanese, so think Astro Farmer or space farming. It's from Moo Moo Company, System Sacom Corp., and also published by Enix. Right at the bottom of the page, there's an announcement for Tokyo Game Show 97 Autumn, taking place at Makuhari Messe, across exhibition halls 2 through 6 on September 6th and 7th. It mentions opening times and ticket prices for advance and day tickets. Looks like it's gearing up to be a big event for gamers that year. This page features a selection of games coming to PlayStation and SEGA Saturn. At the top we have Eggs of Steel, a provisional title for the PlayStation, promoted as a visually impressive action game. Next is Bust a Move, also on PlayStation, described as a potentially groundbreaking dance battle game. Then there's Star Ocean, the second story for PlayStation, promising an enormous RPG adventure. Finally, for Sega Saturn, there's Ninja Penguin Manmaru, which sounds like a chaotic action game with a ninja penguin protagonist. This page gives us a glimpse of the variety of games in development for both consoles at the time. This page highlights a couple of strategy guidebooks. First up is the Tamagotchi Nursery School Super Guide. It's advertised as being on sale now and looks to be a guide for raising Tamagotchi, costing 470 yen. It seems to be connected to the Game Boy version that is mentioned in the blurb that says, "Big excitement, bring it along," which further promotes this Tamagotchi guidebook. It mentions it's full of tips and tricks for raising Tamagotchi on Game Boy and is a portable, a 6 size. Below that, we see an advert for a Pocket Monsters 4,DX book. This one features artwork from Pokemon Red and Green, which we know internationally as Pokemon Red and Blue. It's a collection of 4-panel manga and lists a bunch of names involved in its creation. This book is priced at 728 yen. Finally, at the bottom, there's publisher information for SoftBank, including their address, phone number, and website for ordering. This page is a special store list for SoftBank amusement stations. It looks like a directory of stores organized by region throughout Japan, starting with Hokkaido and moving down through various prefectures like Aomori, Iwate, Miyagi, Akita, Yamagata, Fukushima, and more. Each region is broken down into cities and then lists specific store names along with their phone numbers. It seems to be a comprehensive list for people looking for SoftBank-related game products in various locations across Japan. It's mainly just a long list of store locations and contact details, so probably useful for consumers at the time to find their nearest game shop, but not much exciting game content on this page itself. This page continues the directory of game stores, focusing on the North Kanto region of Japan. It lists stores in areas like Gunma, Tochigi, and Ibaraki prefectures, broken down by city, with store names and their phone numbers provided. It's essentially a phone book for game shops in these regions, carrying on the format from the previous page. This page continues listing game stores, now moving into the Tokyo area and surrounding prefectures like Chiba, Kanagawa, and Saitama. It's still in directory format, listing stores by area, then store name, and finally, their phone number. It's essentially a local guide for gamers to find game shops in these regions. The page is quite dense with store listings and phone numbers, continuing the practical nature of this part of the magazine. The next page continues the game store directory, this time focusing on the Kanagawa prefecture and surrounding areas. It's structured by regions within Kanagawa like Sagamihara, Yokohama, Kawasaki, Atsugi, and others, then lists various game stores within each area along with their phone numbers. Essentially, it's a detailed guide for Sega Saturn gamers in the Kanagawa region to locate their local game shops. The page is densely packed with store names and contact details, showing just how many places were around for gamers to pick up their Saturn games back then. It's a very practical, if a bit dry, resource for anyone in that area at the time looking for video game retailers. This page continues the directory of game stores, now moving into the Nagano and Gifu prefectures, as well as Aichi, Shizuoka, and other areas. It's still a detailed listing, organized by regions within each prefecture, showing the sheer number of game shops that were around back then. You'll find names of stores and their phone numbers listed for each town and city. It's a practical guide for Saturn owners in these areas to find their local game retailers, providing a comprehensive overview of where to buy games in those regions at the time. This page continues with the directory of game stores, still focusing on providing a detailed list organized by prefecture and region. It's a guide for Sega Saturn owners to find local game shops, and here it covers areas including Nagano, Gifu, Aichi, Shizuoka, Mie, and Wakayama prefectures. The listing gives store names and phone numbers for various towns and cities within these prefectures. It seems to be a helpful resource for gamers in these regions to locate places to purchase games and related items. The next page continues the comprehensive directory of game stores, expanding its reach to cover the prefectures of Kyoto, Osaka, Nara, Hyogo, and Okayama. This detailed listing is structured by prefecture, and then by city or ward within each prefecture, offering SEGA Saturn gamers a valuable resource to locate local game retailers. For each store, the directory provides the name of the shop alongside its corresponding phone number, making it easy for users to find contact details for game shops in their vicinity across these regions of Japan. It's a very straightforward and practical guide designed to help SEGA Saturn fans find places to buy games and related merchandise in their local areas. This page continues the comprehensive game store directory, this time expanding to cover the Chugoku, Shikoku, and Kyushu Okinawa regions of Japan. It's organized neatly by prefecture and then by city, making it super easy for Saturn fans to pinpoint local game shops. For each listing, you get the store name alongside their phone number, a really practical guide to find your way to games across a large part of Japan. Think of it as your go-to resource if you're on the hunt for Saturn treasures in these regions back in the day. It's pretty straightforward and functional, no frills, just a helpful list to get you to the games. This page dives into strategy tips for the puzzle game Magical Drop 2 Eyes. It's all about helping you win using your favorite characters and understanding their unique abilities. The page introduces a few characters with gameplay advice for each. First up is Fool, described as a technical character who can erase orbs in a circle. It mentions that understanding the timing of orb drops is key to using Fool effectively. Next is Death, a one-point concentration type character. Uses red special orbs that drop ice orbs in a single column. The tip is to use this to your advantage by clearing out areas effectively, especially as only 12 orbs can be on screen at once. Then there's Magician, a standard character good for beginners thanks to their balanced offense and defense. Magician's special orbs are red, blue, yellow, and green, and they are described as raising orbs from the center first, then the sides. The strategy here is about steady play and using special orbs to create big chains for a quick win in longer matches. Finally, Star is a character focused on normal, clear priority. Star's special orbs are yellow, and they cause a lot of drops in a cascading manner. The advice is to wait for the drops to settle before acting, allowing for more chain reactions and clearing large numbers of orbs quickly. It suggests using special orbs for sending lots of lines to your opponent, or aiming for a normal clear. This guide provides strategies for 4 Magical Drop 2 characters. Emperor focuses on bubble orbs, requiring chain creation and careful handling of special orbs to avoid being overwhelmed. Hierophant excels at overwhelming opponents with fast drops, prioritizing quick normal orb clearing and chain building with ice orbs. Lovers utilize 2 attack methods, horizontal and vertical, requiring players to adapt to both patterns and utilize ice orbs strategically. Sun offers a balanced approach, suitable for beginners. It emphasizes strong attack power, using red and yellow special orbs to send drops and balance defense with offense. Players should focus on sending drops inward and preparing for the opponent's response. This guide details strategies for 4 Magical Drop 2 characters: High Priestess, Judgment, Chariots, and Justice. High Priestess utilizes a tricky, comb-like drop pattern with color-coded orbs, requiring strategic insertion for clearing and resulting in a 7-line pattern during combos. Judgment is a defensive character, using arrow orbs to erase lines and manage his scattered and unpleasant drop pattern. Chariot is a powerful attacker with a fixed, easy-to-clear drop pattern, effective for quick clearing and versus battles. The players should be careful about sending drops without considering the opponent. Justice is an aggressive character with a concentrated center push, followed by a general rise, excelling at returning attacks. Her strategy involves early color orb conversion for combos and targeting normal clears if the opponent survives. The text also provides diagrams illustrating how line height affects drop patterns, specifically how 6 lines and below influence the drop distribution. This guide provides strategies for 4 characters in Magical Drop 2: Devil, World, Strength, and Empress. Devil, with fire and ice orbs, utilizes ice effectively by dropping on the edges and countering tall side drops. World, featuring red, yellow, and green, is a beginner-friendly character focused on clearing wide areas from right to left while managing chain reactions, and utilizes a 6-line setup. Strength is an offensive powerhouse using red chain orbs, best for experienced players, and focuses on central color orb chains and strategic chain orb handling. Empress, using rainbow orbs, requires careful play due to her strong ice orbs, emphasizing leaving color orbs at the base and using special orbs to trigger large chains. 6+. Diagrams for 6 and 7 line arrangements are provided. This page dives into the world of Makai Samurai Spirits Bushido Retsuden, which seems to be a strategy guide for a role-playing game. The page showcases secret technique acquisition level lists for 10 playable characters, each with their starting skills and a progression of new techniques learned at different levels. These characters include familiar faces like Haomaru, Cham-Cham, Rin, Kyoshiro, Charlotte, Nakoru, Genjuro, Galford, Ukyo, and Rimuru. It looks like each character has a unique set of special moves. Below the character skills, there's a section called Demon Flower Labyrinth Chapter, I'll Go Wild, Climax. This part describes the game's story, where after overcoming many hardships, the heroes are now facing their final battle against Mizuki, the demon god, in a terrifying mountain setting. The objective is to defeat the demons within Ai's shrine. There's a dungeon map titled Ai's Underwater Cave B1F, showing a basic layout with numbered points. Next to it, New Party Formation section hints at a mysterious voice guiding the main character to a Misace, where they encounter Mizuki and a mysterious priestess. The Past World section on the right side presents stats for 2 enemies, Ago and Ungo. Ago is fire element based, and Ungo is wind element based. They both have listed skills and item drops. At the bottom, a treasure contents key reveals the items located at the numbered points on the dungeon map, including things like medicine and herbs. This page continues the strategy guide for Makai Samurai Spirits Bushido Retsuden and focuses on the final confrontation with Mizuki. It explains that Mizuki, who should have been defeated, has reappeared by possessing the priestess Mizuki Hime from 200 years prior. The protagonist, summoned from the future, is tasked with changing this history and defeating Mizuki. The page highlights the boss fight against Spirit Body Mizuki, providing her stats and special attacks like Rage Evil Slash and Calling Demon Pillar. Moving on from the overall story, it then breaks down specific locations you'll encounter. There are sections detailing areas like Yasuke Village Hasara, Headcutter Hasara, Netherworld Rock, and the East Noha Theater Training Ground. For each area, there's a screenshot, along with details on the enemies you'll face, such as Hasara and Netherworld Rock enemies, with their stats and special skills. Finally, there's a treasure box section, indicating item locations, and some gameplay tips. It suggests using Hirone's wind attribute Skydance for constant health recovery, and Mizuki Haime's Heavenly Thunder God Cannon for attacks. It also advises players to use healing water if things get tough. This page continues our journey in Samurai Showdown 2-1, Blades of Blood, and brings us to the climax against Mizuki. We're reminded that Mizuki has returned, possessing the priestess Mizuki Hime from 200 years ago, and it's our job to fix this historical hiccup. The page highlights the boss Hyper Breaking Sound, or Hyper Haomaru, who is described as even stronger than Spirit Body Mizuki. Stats are given: 1828 health, 435 spirit, 224 gold, and a massive 28,941 express, along with Thunder attribute and special moves like Thunderbolt Ball and My Divine Howling Thunder. There's a section called Treasure Chest Contents, listing obtainable items, Sonata Cord, and Holy Ribbon. Then we have a map section for the Demon Streets, which seems to be the final area before the big showdown. The map has numbered locations, presumably with different encounters and challenges. Finally, the page gives some crucial last question advice for tackling the final stages. It suggests navigating the branching paths in the Demon Streets by going right, left, right, right to reach the end. We're warned that 2 powerful bosses, the On-Kongu duo, await. These bosses are said to be incredibly strong, requiring players to be at a high level. After defeating them, only Mizuki remains. The page emphasizes using all the skills and items acquired so far and recalling past experiences to conquer the final challenge. This magazine page contains a reader questionnaire. It begins with instructions on how to complete the survey card, including example answers. The survey itself gathers demographic information, gender, age, occupation, and gaming habits, such as the number of SEGA Saturn games owned and other magazines read. Readers are asked for opinions on the current issue's articles and preferred future content. They must also select the 3 most and least interesting articles from a list. Table 1 lists the issue's articles, featuring game reviews and columns. Table 2 is a hardware inventory covering various consoles and accessories. Table 3 lists numerous SEGA Saturn game titles across several genres. This page is all about celebrating Sakura Wars. It's advertising the Sakura Wars Activity Photo Collection book, which seems to be a collection of memorable scenes and moments from the game, bringing back nostalgic memories for fans. Alongside this main book, there are adverts for a few other Sakura Wars products. There's the Taigeki Secret File, which appears to be an illustration collection. Then there's the Original Pictures and Setting Material collection, which is likely an art book, with concept art and design documents from the game. Lastly, there's an official guide for Sakura Wars Hanagumi Taisen Columns, the puzzle spin-off game. The advert highlights that the Activity Photo Collection book has exclusive content, including a complete Imperial Capital Encyclopedia as an appendix, a brand new poster, and even paper patterns for the Flower Division's battle costumes. It's clearly aimed at dedicated Sakura Wars fans who want to delve deeper into the game's world and history. All these Sakura Wars items are apparently selling really well and are currently available for purchase. This page is showcasing music releases related to the Robination series. It highlights a single CD called Passionate Blood is Courage, which is presented as the Robination theme song and the theme song for Robot Generation Ballad. This CD includes songs from Super Robot Wars F and a new Mazinger Z Unit song called Mazen Kaiser. It was released on September 3rd. There's also an announcement for a Super Robot Wars Fawn original soundtrack and arrangement album, scheduled for release on September 19th. This album includes 4 new songs, plus the Passionate Blood is Courage single as a bonus track. The page also features sections promoting Real Sound Wind Regret, original soundtrack, praising it for its quality and emotional depth, mentioning it covers themes of first love, sorrow, and regret. Lastly, there's a bestseller section advertising a Super Robot Wars Vocal Collection CD, Robination 1. This collection seems to feature 12 popular anime songs and is recommended for enjoying vocal anime songs. Below this, there's an announcement for a Robination Ignition event or project in August, promising a luxurious live album with photos and a second Robination album planned for October 17th. My Dream on Air Ge Matenakute is a simulation game where players scout and develop voice actors. The game features a deep storyline with realistic elements and a unique multicasting system with 3 voice actors per character, totaling 36 voice actors, designed by Hirozumi Imai. The game was released on September 18th for PlayStation and SEGA Saturn at 6,800 yen. A special questionnaire offer with bonus items was available with a deadline of October 6th, 1997. The game also has a related radio program, My Dream Special Every Week's Fun, featuring the production team and voice actors like Yuji Yatabe and Yoko Asami, and guest appearances by Sayuri Yoshida and Manami Komori. The radio show aired on Radio Osaka and Radio Japan in September. A Citron Fantastic Character Series music CD, also titled My Dream on Air ga Matenakute, was released on October 1st by Pony Canyon, Citron label, for 2,548 yen. The game boasts a gorgeous voice actor lineup, with many notable voice actors. This page showcases the exciting romance RPG, Blue Breaker, for the SEGA Saturn. It's advertised as a major release for this autumn, emphasizing the encounters and love story within the game. The tagline highlights Smiles Brighter Than Swords, hinting at the game's themes. It's set to launch on September 25th and promises a special, first-run limited, luxurious bonus item for early purchasers. The artwork features a group of anime-style characters, suggesting a fantasy adventure setting. The prominent SEGA Saturn logo reinforces the platform, and the romance RPG genre tag clearly defines the game's focus. This page introduces Universal Nuts, an adventure game for the SEGA Saturn coming out in the autumn of '97. The tagline hints at a sea of mystery in space. Setting the scene for the game, we see artwork of the main characters, a confident-looking woman on the left, and a man hanging upside down on the right, both in a distinct anime style. The page mentions a holder system and recall mode as key gameplay features. The game is priced at 5,800 yen and is published by Layup. It promises a space adventure experience with a focus on story and character interactions. The bottom of the page includes details like the voice actors for the game and contact information for user support. Overall, it's a promotional page highlighting the upcoming release of Universal Nuts for Sega Saturn. This page from Ban Presto, Volume 16, features a special interview with Hiroki Kageyama and Miyoko Hori, focusing on the topic of robot songs. It seems to be related to Super Robot Wars Phi, and they dive deep into what makes a great robot anime theme. Both Kageyama and Hori are asked if they are gamers, and they both say they play games quite a bit, especially simulation and RPG genres. They both agree they enjoy the Super Robot Wars series. They reminisce about their early experiences with robot anime. Kageyama mentions being a fan of Iron Man 28 Go and Mazinger Z from when he was young. Hori points out how robot song choruses can sound quite similar, in a humorous way. Hori discusses her pioneering role as one of the first female singers of robot anime theme songs, mentioning Voltes V and her work on OVAs. They then discuss the evolution of robot songs and how older songs have a certain mood that's hard to replicate in remakes, even when Kageyama is involved in those remakes himself, like with Getter Robo. He feels the original versions have a unique drive and energy that's hard to capture again. Overall, it's a great chat about the history and nuances of robot anime music in the context of games like Super Robot Wars. This page continues the interview with Hiroki Kageyama and Miyoko Hori, and they're still talking about robot songs. They chat about how intense robot songs can be, and how they feel about singing together in duets, mentioning that sometimes it feels like they're arguing in song. They also talk about meeting with Tsuburaya and the idea of mentorship in the industry. Hori jokes about not remembering raising Kageyama as her son in response to a comment about mentorship, keeping it lighthearted. There's a present section where they are giving away signed items for Getter Robo and Volts V to 5 lucky readers. You have to send in a postcard to enter, which was common back then. There are also adverts for new releases from both of them. Hironobu Kageyama has a new CD called Eternity, and Miyoko Hori has an album called Debut, a greatest hits collection from animation and rock versions. Finally, there's a postcard corner, encouraging readers to send in postcards. It's the usual reader interaction stuff, asking about summer holidays and upcoming school terms, and encouraging people to write in with requests and comments to help improve the magazine. The page also includes the address and contact info for SEGA Saturn Magazine. There's even a photo of Kageyama and Hori together holding a signed board promoting the giveaway. Robination Live 97 Summer was a concert celebrating robot anime songs, featuring iconic performers like Ichiro Mizuki, the King of Anison, Miyoko Hori, the Queen of Anison, and Hironobu Kageyama. The concert aimed to unite fans of classic series like Mazinger Z with newer hits like Neon Genesis Evangelion. The setlist included a diverse range of songs from various robot anime, showcasing the genre's popularity and appeal for karaoke. Photos from the concert capture the energy of the performances, highlighting the featured artists and their passionate delivery of beloved theme songs. The event was clearly a celebration of robot anime music, presented as a must-see experience for fans. This page follows up on the Robination Live 97 Summer Concert. It was held on August 17th at Akasaka Blitz in Tokyo, and featured a stellar lineup, including Ichiro Mizuki, Miyoko Hori, Hironobu Kageyama, and Mio. The concert was packed, and a huge success, with audiences enthusiastically enjoying classic anime songs like Mazinger Z, alongside newer tracks. The article mentions that the event was even broadcast live on the internet, bringing the robot anime music movement to a global audience. There's also an interview with Ichiro Mizuki, Aniki, who expresses his delight in performing songs by Watanabe-sensei and recording the live album. He mentions feeling the soul in the melody lines, and talks about the magic of live performances. Finally, the page advertises a series of Robination CDs. There's a Super Robot Wars F original soundtrack and arrangement album, scheduled for release on September 19th, featuring original music and arrangements. Another CD, Robination theme song, Burning Blood is Courage, came out on September 3rd, and includes new songs composed by Kuhei Tanaka and Shunichi Makaino. There's also a Robination Vocal Collection Robination.1, which is already available, and features 12 tracks, including famous robot anime songs. The Robination series cruds in general, condensing famous robot anime songs, are ongoing, with Volume 2 planned for later in the year. This page is an advertisement for Yag Daisakaki Animation Academy, celebrating the 10th anniversary of its Osaka campus. They are highlighting a high job placement rate of 98.749%. The ad mentions that the annual tuition fee is 650,000 yen, with a reduced fee of 400,000 yen for the second year. They offer a variety of courses at both their Osaka and Tokyo campuses. Osaka has courses like Animator, Digital Paint Artist, CG Anime and Game, Entertainment Novel, Manga and Comic Pro, and Voice Talent. They've added new courses in Osaka, including Game Designer, Anime Director, and Background Art Director. The Tokyo campus also has Anime Director and SFX Director courses. The school emphasizes 24-hour free health consultations, scholarships, and a charisma map aptitude test to help students understand their artistic strengths. They also promote free trial classes and boast about naturally obtainable qualifications in their curriculum. They are also advertising free auditions to discover new voice acting talent, held in Osaka in September, Fukuoka in October, and Tokyo in November. Contact information, including phone, fax, email, and website, are provided for those interested in applying or getting more information. This page delves into a more serious topic, reflecting on the tragic Kobe child murders and exploring the role of video games in teenagers' lives. The SEGA Saturn magazine editorial team is thinking about whether games can offer an escape or even a form of salvation from the annoying daily life that teenagers experience. They've conducted interviews and questionnaires with teenage gamers to get their perspective. We can see game cabinets like The Lost World, Tokyo Wars, Daytona USA, and Sega Rally Championship in the background, setting the scene in an arcade. The article quotes teenagers using phrases like annoying, bored, can't be bothered, and lonely, highlighting the feelings of frustration and isolation that some young people might experience. The article touches upon the idea that these feelings could be related to the Kobe Elementary School serial murder case, suggesting that games might be seen as a way to cope with or escape such difficult realities. It's presented as a serious consideration from the magazine editors prompted by this incident, exploring the potential positive role games can play in the lives of young people. The article is credited to the SEGA Saturn magazine editorial department, with photography by Honoma Takashi. This page continues to explore the serious topic of video games and their relation to teenage experiences, particularly in the context of the tragic Kobe child murders. The article starts by highlighting the phrase, "Let's start the game," used by the young perpetrator in their declaration, which apparently shocked America. The editorial team believes that the perpetrator used the word game to mean story. They argue that humans learn about their place in the world through stories, and in this learning process, individuals need stories. The article suggests that these stories can be negative forces, but also positive ones that give strength. They believe that teenagers, especially those who may feel isolated or negative, seek out stories to find relief and a sense of belonging. Manga, games, and anime are mentioned as these sources of stories and relief. The piece connects this back to the Kobe case, stating that the young perpetrator unfortunately only found solace in violent stories. The article concludes by pondering what the significant difference between these two experiences, finding positive or negative stories, reveals to us. The image shows hands playing on an arcade cabinet, visually grounding the discussion in the world of video games. The next page continues the discussion about games being stories and asks, "Games are stories, entrusted stories to us." It features personal narratives from game enthusiasts. The article highlights how games, manga, and anime offer a sense of story and belonging for teenagers, echoing the themes from the previous page about seeking solace in narratives. One person, referred to as Mari, 17 years old, private high school second year, shares her early gaming experience with the Game Boy in elementary school, specifically Super Mario Land. She describes how even as she grew older, memories of playing always resurfaced. She talks about spending a lot of time alone in front of the TV, enjoying comedy shows, and then dedicating herself to the Game Boy and Super Mario Land when her favorite shows ended. She mentions never playing outside and not even going to the nearby woods. Another person, referred to as someone who spent their holiday time in the classroom, talks about how anime and manga heroines became a part of their identity, suggesting this helped them navigate their life. This reinforces the idea of games and related media providing important personal narratives and a sense of self, as discussed in the previous page. The page also briefly touches on family dynamics, with a mention of parents divorcing and the absence of a father, and how games may play a role in dealing with these situations. This section explores how games and cosplay foster narrative and belonging, using personal anecdotes. One story details a young woman's journey from chorus club and Sailor Moon cosplay to game cosplay, finding community and a sense of identity at events. She experienced early romantic feelings through cosplay. Another recounts finding solace in manga like Please Save My Earth during a period of despair. The narrative's protagonist, reflecting on the manga's themes, learned to value life and cope with bullying, suggesting that such narratives could offer similar support to others, potentially impacting even those who commit harmful acts. 17-year-old Hiroshi Ishida, a pseudonym, recounts his elementary school bullying experiences. Facing name-calling, destroyed belongings, and physical violence, including air guns, he felt like an outsider. After his mother's attempt to intervene backfired, he sought refuge in fantasy worlds like Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, and anime such as God Bless Dan Cougar. These games served as a vital escape, preventing self-destructive behavior. Ishida found solace and two saviors in these narratives, dreaming of being a warrior and using magic. The article contrasts his experience with the Kobe child murderer, suggesting games offered a healthier outlet. His story touches upon the need to create a patchwork story of a villain and hints at a lack of cooperativeness that will be further explored. As a child, Hiroshi Ishida found solace in video games, escaping bullying and isolation. Limited by his parents' restrictions, he played older titles and borrowed games, becoming a dedicated gamer. After a bullying incident, he briefly joined judo but soon quit. He struggled with early romantic relationships, connecting more with his gaming friends and developing an interest in voice actresses in games like King of Fighters. He and his siblings enjoyed anime like Neon Genesis Evangelion. Ishida felt like an outsider in his family, struggling with empathy and processing the world differently, viewing stories as a source of inspiration. He credits a friend with preventing him from becoming a delinquent, and emphasizes the enduring nature of their friendship. This page delves into the experiences of Chris Christofio, a 17-year-old from the Cultural Academy, as he navigates cultural differences and communication through video games. Chris, described as tall and stylish, is half French and half Japanese, and finds himself in Japanese public junior high school after struggling in an American school due to language barriers. He faces initial communication difficulties in Japan as well, despite being able to speak Japanese. The article describes how Chris uses games as a way to connect with people, especially after feeling isolated. He recalls nights spent gaming, and even his mother observing him play in the dark. Game centers become a crucial place for communication for Chris. He mentions Super Mario as a common ground for conversation, even with French children. And in Japan, he frequents game centers, particularly one called Oasis in Inada, which he sees as a gaming mecca. There, he bonds with a wide range of people, from high schoolers to working adults, through games like Vampire Hunter, likely Darkstalkers, Night Warriors. He even participates in arcade tournaments. Gaming provides Chris with a new way to communicate and builds his confidence, turning negative feelings into positive energy. This text explores how gaming fosters friendships and reveals personality, using Chris as a case study. For Chris, games are more than entertainment. They are crucial for social connection, providing a shared experience and conversation starter. The article highlights the importance of positive interactions within games, emphasizing patience, teaching, and reciprocity. It suggests that games can act as a trigger for forming relationships, especially for those who struggle to connect otherwise. The text further discusses the role of fantasy in addressing loneliness, particularly for individuals who feel like outsiders. Games and other media provide an escape and a way to create personal narratives to cope with isolation. It links this need for fantasy to adolescent struggles, suggesting that a lack of understanding and support can exacerbate feelings of loneliness. Ultimately, the article advocates for recognizing and addressing this underlying loneliness through understanding and providing avenues for emotional healing, rather than relying on superficial age restrictions. This page features 2 articles discussing the role of video games in modern society. The first article, penned by Wataru Tsurumi, is titled, "Game is Withdrawal. Too Hard, Can't Do It, Daily Life to Rescue." Tsurumi reflects on the societal feeling of stagnation and powerlessness stemming from the end of rapid economic growth. He sees games as a potential escape from this mundane reality, contrasting the negative perception of games as promoting withdrawal with their ability to offer a break from the monotonous daily grind. He reminisces about playing games like Dragon Quest and Famista in his youth, and suggests that gaming can be a healthier outlet than things like drugs or expensive self-help seminars, concluding with an enthusiastic endorsement for young people to embrace gaming. The second article, by Tsuyoshi Takashiro, is called, "Games Are Great Cost-Performance Things." Takashiro addresses the common criticism of children playing too many games, arguing that games are simply a cost-effective and excellent form of entertainment, much like books were once viewed. He highlights their stress-relieving qualities and the opportunity they provide for characterization, allowing players to embody different roles and explore identities, which is especially relevant in a society where children have fewer interactions with adults. He references phrases like Tekyo Kumakon and Henshin Shin, suggesting the immersive and role-playing aspects of games. Takashiro, who is a game creator known for Chiki Chiki Machine Ma Race, also mentions his current ventures into film production, working with figures like Takehiro Kihara and Fumiya Fuji. This page presents the results of a telephone survey targeting teenage SEGA Saturn magazine readers to understand their gaming habits. It reveals that 59.2% of respondents answered yes to enjoying computer games the most at a certain time. Though the exact question is not fully elaborated on, the survey demographics show that 87% of the 108 respondents were male, with an average age of 15.5. The majority were students in middle and high school, with a smaller percentage being freeders or part-time workers. The average game experience was 3.4 years for arcade games and 5.3 years for console games. RPGs were the most popular game genre, favored by 40.7% of respondents, followed by action games at 24.1%. Simulation, puzzle, fighting, sports, racing, adventure, and table games were also listed in descending order of popularity. The survey explored gaming frequency and duration. For TV games, over 55% played daily, and combined with those playing almost daily, 4 or more times a week, it accounts for almost 90% playing regularly. Most gaming sessions for TV games were under 2 hours. Game center visits were less frequent, with the largest group visiting 21 times a week, and a significant portion rarely or never going. Those who do visit game centers typically go with friends. Interestingly, the page notes that game centers are surprisingly not as popular as expected among these teenage gamers. SEGA Saturn Magazine's survey of its readers revealed insights into their gaming habits and attitudes. Monthly game spending varied, with the most common range being 3,000 to 5,000 yen. Most respondents, 87%, found their daily lives enjoyable, although daily fun was less prevalent. Computer games were seen as enjoyable at specific times, 59.2%, and helpful for stress relief, 83.3%. Regarding juvenile crime, opinions were divided. 33.3% felt TV games had some influence, while 51.9% disagreed. Empathy for perpetrators was low, 14.8%. Games were perceived diversely, from fun to a means of self-expression and imagination. The survey concluded that most participants viewed games positively, and the survey was conducted during summer vacation. This SEGA Saturn press page previews new and upcoming games. New Release Soft features recent titles like Tamagotchi, a team management sim, Formula Grand Prix 1997, and romance titles. Adventure games like Beautiful Girl Mystery Story Special, likely Tilk Blue Sea internationally, and a theme park simulator, Jungle Park Saturn Island, also appear. Other releases include Praedoral Disc Series, Junklash Circus Sea, and Lovable Club, The Star Bowling, and Reflection Spark. Coming soon soft previews, upcoming titles, including Ishin no Arashi, and a game based on the manga. This is Katsushika Kameri Park in front of the police box, Nakagawa Land Race, Street Fighter Collection, finalists, and Wiz are also listed. The Street Fighter collection being visually promoted with dynamic artwork of iconic characters like Ryu and Chun-Li. This page delves into the upcoming Sega Saturn version of Tamagotchi, highlighting it as a highly anticipated release. The page refers to it as Tamagotchi, tentative title. It emphasizes the popularity of Tamagotchi, noting its widespread appeal both in Japan and overseas. The article suggests that the Saturn version is still under development by Professor Banzo. The features highlighted are autosave functionality, an inbuilt clock for time-sensitive gameplay, and X-band compatibility for online communication. It mentions the possibility of connecting with other Tamagotchi players online. The page also discusses various Tamagotchi products available at the time, including the original handheld Tamagotchi, Tenshichi no Tamagotchi, Angel Tamagotchi, Tamagotchi House for observing and interacting with Tamagotchis, and PC Tamagotchi, which allows gameplay on a larger screen with PC integration. It also briefly touches on Tamapi, which is referred to as a digital monster similar to Digimon, and Tamapulse, which appears to be a phone-based Tamagotchi. The article speculates on how these features and concepts might translate to the Saturn version, suggesting possibilities like larger-scale Tamagotchi raising, competitive modes, and potentially enhanced graphics and gameplay depth due to the Saturn's capabilities. The page seems enthusiastic about the potential of a Sega Saturn Tamagotchi game, anticipating how it could expand upon the handheld experience. This page introduces Formula Grand Prix 1997, a detailed F1 team management simulation game coming to Sega Saturn, building on the popularity of the PlayStation version. It puts you in the shoes of an F1 team owner, tasking you to lead your team through a 16-race Grand Prix season. The game emphasizes the depth of team management, going beyond just driving by, including aspects like car development, testing, sponsor and driver negotiations, and overall team operations. The page breaks down the gameplay into 4 key stages. First, you establish your team foundation by choosing a team name, base country, and securing sponsors from 21 countries, allowing up to 3 sponsors. Next, you design your original car, focusing on areas like aerodynamics, suspension, and engine. Testing and pit stop training are also crucial aspects mentioned for race preparation. Before each Grand Prix, you'll delve into machine development and fine-tune settings for engine, fuel, tires, and driver setup, with engineer advice available for newcomers. Finally, the game progresses through pre-race qualifying and the main race, where you can give instructions to your driver during the race. The ultimate goal is to develop your team and aim for championship victory, even preparing for future seasons. The page highlights the deep and realistic simulation aspects for Formula 1 enthusiasts. 2 adult-oriented games are coming. Cross Romance arrives October 2nd for 6,800 yen. It combines Mahjong, Hanafuda, and Romance, with players competing in a Mahjong tournament to win over 13 girls. Featuring a story-driven experience with gameplay screenshots shown. Beautiful Girl Hanafuda Journey, Michinoku Hot Springs Story Special, launches October 16th for 5,800 yen. This adventure game focuses on Hanafuda gameplay and a love story set in the Tohoku region of Japan. You play as a cameraman, taking photos and playing Hanafuda. This port from the PlayStation version includes new hot spring scenes. This page introduces Tilka Girl Who Came from the Blue Sea, a simulation RPG for Sega Saturn by TGL, set to release on November 27th. It revolves around a group of 5 friends on Tilk Island, focusing on story and character development. The gameplay involves simulation-style battles, where you strategically position characters and utilize items. The battles trigger when units clash on the map. You choose allies and items before engaging in combat. The game emphasizes story and player choices, occasionally presenting situations where you must make critical decisions. Next up is the Pradal Disc series from SATA Soft, which is a series of digital photo collections featuring up-and-coming idols. The page reveals the release schedule for Volumes 7 through 11, starting with Volume 7 featuring Maho Asou on November 20th, followed by volumes released weekly until December 18th, and features idols such as Erika Furukawa, Yuko Nagamatsu, and Mayui Masaki, culminating in Volume 11 featuring Mayui Masaki again. These discs include sexy photo shoots, minigames, and quizzes. Volume 7 includes a quiz game where you guess the idol's birth year. This page presents 4 exciting new games coming to the Sega Saturn. First up is The Star Bowling Volume 1, a bowling game where you can enjoy bowling with popular voice actors like Tomosa Yokoyama, Yuri Shiratori, Akiko Hiramatsu, and Ayako Dan. It features story and training modes, as well as doubles play. Next is Jun Classic Circa Sea and Rope Club, a golf simulation game that brings realistic domestic Japanese golf courses to your Saturn. It looks like a very detailed golf experience. Then there's Jungle Park Saturn Island, an adventure game where you explore a jungle park with a character named Saru. It seems to be full of mini-games and is produced by multimedia creator Mr. Matsumoto Hiroshi. Finally, Tenant Wars is showcased, a board game that plays like Monopoly but set in real shops. You can buy shops and compete with rivals in this unique board game experience, with 44 types of shops and 11 types of town locations. This page is showcasing Storm of the Restoration, a historical simulation game set during the Meiji Restoration era in Japan, and it's announced as 100% complete and coming out on September 25th. The reviewer is really excited, mentioning that the master room is done and it's about to be released on Saturn. I think people who are fans of historical games, especially those about the Meiji Restoration, will really enjoy this one. The game is all about uniting Japan during the turbulent times of the late Edo period, with players taking on the role of key figures from that era, like Kino, Sato, and Kogi, aiming to shape the nation's political system. It looks like there are various gameplay elements like swordsmanship, learning, and physical strength, which seem to be important for character development. There are also 2 scenarios to choose from: Dawn of a New Era in 1858 and Meiji Restoration War in 1863, each with slightly different key characters. A unique feature highlighted is Persuasion, which is used in card battles and involves different card types like Topics, Debate, and Special. The goal is to persuade opponents using these cards, and it seems like each character has different strengths in persuasion. Winning these card battles seems crucial. The page also touches on how in-game events and changing national situations will influence the gameplay, requiring players to pay attention to the flow of history. Storm of the Restoration favors characters with high status, particularly lords like Shimazu Yoshihiro, ideal for beginners. Travel relies solely on ships, visiting locations like ports for travel costs, checkpoints for security, mines for income, villages for specialties, towns for gambling, and castles for political interaction. Combat is sword-based, centered around Tsubazari-ai clashes, where button mashing is crucial. Battles are 10 turns, with health bars determining survival. Attack stances, upper, middle, lower, have a rock-paper-scissors dynamic. Survival depends on managing health and finances. Money is earned by selling goods, working in mines, and gambling, risky at checkpoints. Game over occurs with 0 health or bankruptcy. This page is all about the Kochikame Kameda's District Park Front Police Box board game, based on the long-running manga and anime series. It's described as a surprise box-style game set in Nakagawa Land, a massive theme park. The goal is to be the first to reach the top goal, competing with rivals. The game supports 1 to 6 players and features 6 zones like parks, downtown, jungles, high-tech areas, and adventure zones. Your chosen character influences your battle style, encouraging strategic play. The page emphasizes playing with friends to reach the goal together. It highlights the 3D map with various features, asking, which way is shorter? Gameplay elements include using roulette spins at stations and the ability to use missiles to hinder rivals. There are encounters where you must defeat rivals to progress. The reviewer seems excited about the chaotic and unpredictable gameplay with friends. The Kochikame board game allows players to choose from 6 unique characters, each with special skills. Kankichi Ryotsu is a confident, quick-win character. Reiko Akimoto is a strategic, calculated player. Keiichi Nakagawa excels at dominating the game's progress. Hayato Honda brings chaos with reckless bike riding. Maria, a master of disguise, adds unpredictability. Volvo Saigo, equipped with weapons, controls the game through force. Game features traps, events, and checkpoints that impact gameplay. Earning money and points is crucial, and events can drastically alter fate. The game also features characters from the Kochikame series, as event characters like Marui, Bakudan, and Hakase, adding to the unpredictable and fun gameplay. The Sega Saturn version of Super Street Fighter II is touted as a perfect port of the arcade game, a collection of the entire Street Fighter II series. This version includes all the improvements and new characters from the evolution of the series, from Street Fighter II to Super Street Fighter II, featuring characters like Cammy, DJ, Fei Long, and T-Hawk. The Saturn version, created by Capcom, maintains the dot art quality of the original room, though characters might appear slightly stretched due to screen ratio differences. Reviewers found the controls responsive, making special moves easier to execute. Scheduled for a September 18th release in Japan, the 2-disc set will cost 5,800 yen and is intended for competitive play. Capcom emphasizes this as the definitive version, urging players to anticipate and enjoy the complete arcade experience. This page delves into the exciting new features of Street Fighter Zero-2 for the Sega Saturn, focusing on the collection aspect and a new Super Combo mode. It highlights that players familiar with Saturn versions of previous Street Fighter Zero titles will know about the Super Combo gauge needed for special moves. However, in Zero-2, this gauge can be completely disabled via an option setting. This means players can unleash level 1 to level 3 super combos freely, anytime they want. And the input commands are also simplified in this mode. The page uses Ryu's vacuum wave motion fist as an example. It shows the normal input, which is quite complex, and then demonstrates how in Super Combo mode, the input is significantly easier. Screenshots showcase Ryu performing combos and powerful moves, emphasizing how easy and strong they are to execute. It also introduces Ryu's Satsui no Hado version, which debuted in the Zero series. This Ryu, similar to Akuma, uses fierce, demonic techniques, and is available as the default Ryu in Zero-2. The article praises his special moves and super combos as being particularly amazing, with an image of his 10 kanji finish. Finally, the page teases more hidden elements of Street Fighter Zero-2 to be revealed in upcoming issues, posing the question of whether players think Zero-2 is just a pseudo-alpha, and promising to clarify the differences in the next issue. This page showcases the game Finalist, highlighting its imminent release and features. It's advertised as being 100% complete and coming soon from Gaga Communications on August 29th for 5,800 yen, and is described as a shooting game. The page emphasizes the game's cool factor, boasting a racing game-like intensity with anti-gravity controls, varied missions, and immersive sound. The article raves about the game's floating feeling and speed, claiming it provides a unique sense of hovering and exhilarating velocity. It mentions maze-like stages and diverse missions that players tackle using an anti-gravity machine. Finalist is described as a 3D shooting game already acclaimed on other platforms. The unique selling point is the combination of floating and speed, offering a thrilling experience. The page also details the weapon system, dividing weapons into two main types: main weapons and bomb weapons. Main weapons are standard, always available, and often unlimited in ammo, like machine guns, lasers, and homing missiles. Bomb weapons are more situational, powerful weapons, designed for clearing obstacles or dealing significant damage, described as requiring strategic use. The page also shows a stage-cleared screen, indicating bonus points are awarded based on destroyed obstacles and encouraging score attack replays. This page delves into the treacherous traps players will encounter in Assault Suit Lanos 2. The article breaks down several types of obstacles designed to hinder progress. First up are cross barricades, described as ubiquitous obstacles with varying durability. Then there are light barrier sensors, triggering enemy reinforcements upon detection. Lastly, wooden boxes are highlighted, which are destructible and explode upon contact, acting as mobile mines. The page also mentions helpful items scattered throughout the levels, specifically weapons and health recovery items, to aid players in overcoming these challenges. The article then breaks down gameplay by missions. Mission 1 is presented as a straightforward escape mission, designed to be very simple for beginners. Mission 2 ups the ante, tasking players with destroying weapon helicopters and emphasizing the use of rocket launchers and mines. It warns players to be cautious around light barrier sensors. Mission 3 describes a more intense scenario where players must control an area before escaping through a warp gate, highlighting the increased enemy aggression and stricter time limits in later stages. Overall, the page gives a good overview of the types of challenges and objectives players can expect in Assault Suit Lanos 2, showcasing the game's varied level design and strategic elements. This page is dedicated to the refreshing action game Wiz, where you control a tuxedo-wearing rabbit magician. This fast-paced title emphasizes spin attacks and promises exhilarating gameplay. The page outlines the basic game flow, starting with navigating stages by following arrow markers on the map. You'll then proceed to defeat enemies, collect items, and overcome obstacles like walls which require specific blocks to destroy, adding a puzzle element. The ultimate goal of each stage is to reach the exit. Wiz is highlighted for its comical world and intricate stage designs, aiming to be enjoyable for players of all ages. Developed by Bandai Visual B Factory, it was released on August 29th and priced at 5,800 yen as an action game for everyone. Wiz features various collectible items. Flags grant bonus points. Recovery coins fully restore health, while recovery mushrooms offer partial healing. Keys unlock treasure chests and warp zones, often guarding important items. The invincible coin grants temporary invincibility, and quick juice doubles speed. Red/white coins enable defeating otherwise invincible enemies. The game progresses through 4 stages. Stages 1 and 2 are introduced. Stage 1, a grassland, is designed for easy gameplay with simple gimmicks like bridge switches. Stage 2 transitions to a snowfield with increased difficulty, although not slippery. Stage 2 includes sleigh rides and keyholes, indicating more complex level design than Stage 1. This page is from Riko Yanagita's Internet Trek column, this time focusing on online shopping, or as they call it, the shopping zone. The author, who is also a game journalist for TBS Radio's Midnight Virus program, describes the appeal of internet shopping as being able to buy anything from anywhere in the world, especially rare items, and comparing prices. The article highlights a few online stores. First is the Shopping Zone, a collection of online shops from various companies like Senshukai, Nippon Dentsu System, Hibiya Kadan Flower Shop, and Lion, the toothpaste company. Lion's online shop is mentioned specifically, showcasing a Spring and Summer 1997 campaign for children's toothpaste and toothbrush sets. Next, the article points to Honda's online shop, which is described as a destination for race fans, offering Honda direct marketing and information from the Honda Technical Research Institute. It mentions F1 and two-legged robots, suggesting a focus on racing and Honda's tech. Finally, Sega's official online shop, Sega Mall Daisho, is featured. The article notes it sells Sega character goods like Sonic and Virtua Fighter merchandise, including t-shirts and phone cards. The author concludes by praising Sega's online shop as expected of Sega, noting the recent increase in Sonic goods. The page ends by saying that online shopping through these shopping zones is convenient and a good way to experience the internet. This page is a SEGA Saturn Soft Complete Guide, prominently featuring a cool anime girl wielding a stick, who is likely from the fighting game Last Bronx. We can see her twice in different poses. This page looks like a guide to understand recently released SEGA Saturn software. It mentions a corner dedicated to deeply exploring talked-about software that was recently released in the summer. The games listed for coverage are Virus, Real Sound, Wind Regret, Langrisser IV, and Last Bronx. So it seems this guide will provide information about these titles. The vertical Japanese text to the left is promoting this guide as the essential strategy guide for Sega Saturn software after release. This Sega Saturn guide offers strategies for Virus, a hybrid adventure game. The guide provides a structured walkthrough detailing the game's 8 stages, e.g., Firestar Base, Stand Headquarters, etc., offering a roadmap for players. Early stage strategies include thoroughly exploring the initial room, listening to Erika's explanations, and practicing combat. The guide also explains dungeon structure and recommends using the Analyze function. In-game phone numbers are provided for key locations. Weapon preparation, especially before boss battles, is emphasized, with a recommendation to visit the net shop for ammunition and bombs. The guide includes tips for defeating the first boss, Virus Monster, targeting weak points, and observing movie sequences. Screenshots of gameplay, maps, and characters, including Erika, are included. This guide section focuses on the Virus game's progression following the HistoryNet. Serge and Erika journey to the Twinnell Company on Mars to investigate missing girls, encountering Event Trap 1, CO Interaction, and Event Trap 2, Hexadecimal Elevator Puzzle. Next, players explore CultureNet and BusinessNet, networks operated by Twinnell, to further the investigation. The order is flexible, but CultureNet is recommended for story flow. After clearing both, the investigation into the FantasyNet begins. The guide offers gameplay advice. Master the Virus minigame, utilize the keyword search system for context, and use the simulate room for training. It also describes 2 dungeon types, Movie Dungeon and polygon dungeon. Finally, it highlights branching storylines and multiple endings influenced by choices in culture and business nets, emphasizing frequent saving for exploration and suggesting the use of a memory cartridge. Chapter 7 of the game guide focuses on the fantasy net, a new area where Serge and Erica investigate missing girls. Saving is restricted within this area. The chapter details key sections: First Trial, involving a rabbit character and island navigation, and Before the Pond, which leads players to a cave. Players will face Amuru, the rabbit, in battle, obtaining Celestial Turtle's armor beforehand, preceded by quizzes. Secret of the Ocarina involves using an ocarina near a wise dragon statue. The guide provides maps of various locations and a table of items, potentially tied to gameplay mechanics. Players are advised to prepare thoroughly, stocking up on items and equipment, as the fantasy net boss is stronger than the previous one. The guide details the next sections of the game. In the lake bottom, use the ocarina and bombs to explore ruins and a sunken ship within a time limit. Boss Battle Part 2 outlines a strategy using net bombs and handguns. Next is the business net, where a virus outbreak requires Serge and Erica to navigate booths and fight enemies. Event Trap 3 involves using an antibody device with RGB colors to treat infected individuals quickly. Boss Battle Part 3 requires precisely targeting a logic circuit with the antibody device for a one-shot kill. Finally, Business Net, after clearing hints at deeper story elements, encounters with new characters, and the importance of using the execute command. This page is about Real Sound Wins Regret, which is described as an interactive sound drama from Warp, known for being popular with women. It seems to be a discussion amongst women reviewers and industry figures about the game and its appeal. The article highlights a women-only roundtable discussion to understand how women perceive this sound-based game. The discussion explores the direction of real sound and how core users might feel about it, looking at both the positive and negative aspects of Wins Regret. Participants in the discussion include Yawata Kaoru, who reviews non-interactive games, Tatsuzawa Tamami from Warp's Planning and Sales, Noguchi Asako, Warp's representative director, and writer Adakawa Ruka. The discussion touches on how players connect with the characters, particularly Hiroshi, Nana, and Izumi, and what aspects of these characters resonate with them. The overall tone suggests they are trying to understand the unique appeal of an audio-based game and how it emotionally engages players, especially women, moving away from typical visual game experiences. This page continues the roundtable discussion about Real Sound Wins Regret. The reviewers are discussing how games, in general, might be used for escapism, and if real sound fits into that. One of the reviewers, Yawata, thinks that games might be used as a way to escape reality. They talk about the relatability of the characters in Wins Regret, especially how the negative aspects of romantic relationships are portrayed, and how that resonates with players. Noguchi from Warp mentions that she thinks real sound is interesting because it offers a different kind of experience through sound, rather than just visuals. Another person mentions that while many opinions are voiced about games like this, there are still many people who find genuine enjoyment and emotional depth in them. On the right side of the page, there's a small report about an Enemy Zero exhibition held at Parco Gallery in Shibuya, Tokyo, up until August 24th. It mentions that press were invited and took photos using flash photography, and the exhibition space was dark, creating a unique atmosphere. It highlights the use of Ida Kazutoshi's direct calligraphy and Araki Hirohiko's original drawings at the exhibition. This guide offers strategy for Langrisser IV scenarios 18A-22A. In Double Cross 18A, defeat Bruno using high ground and caution against Golem/Cavalry. Ludon's Trap 19A challenges players to defeat Ivy, managing wave-based reinforcements and a complex cave environment. Use Selena's holy units and magic counters for meteor attacks. Decisive Battle at Skutlenberg Castle 20A requires defeating Giseloff and Kuruger, with reinforcements arriving in waves. Long-range attacks are key. In Demon Army Strategist Ivy 21A, defeat Ivy, but avoid her retreat. Ballista units are useful. Finally, Demon Castle Zacht Galen 22A involves splitting forces, prioritizing Narul's defeat at the bridge to merge groups, using cavalry, lancers, holy units, and giants. This guide covers Langrisser IV scenarios 23A-25A, A route, and 21B 23B B route a route. Scenario 23A. Defeat Bozel and Chaos, prioritizing defense against Aaron Bolt. Use Decrease to counter magic resistance. Scenario 24A. Conquer the fortified research institute by opening the large door with a device inside, restricting cavalry and mechanical units. Scenario 25A. The final stage. Focus attacks on the commander for a quick victory. Scenario 21B. Defeat Rachel, with support units appearing on turn 6, upon engaging Guyframe, or after destroying Federation units 1 to 12. Scenario 22B. Defeat Gizilov in a research institute. Prioritize removing mages and snipers before opening the door. No turn limit. Use flyers in the back, infantry and mages in front. Scenario 23B. Defeat Willer, Lanford, Bollock, Selena and Emily. Support units arrive from multiple locations. Lure enemies to the central riverbank to easily defeat Lanford. This document outlines strategies for several scenarios in Langrisser IV. Scenario 17C involves defeating Listel and Gnarl, utilizing magic and strategic troop placement. 18C requires defeating Ivar, emphasizing magic and mechanical units with magic resistance. In 19C, the goal is defeating Shelfaniel and Selena, with Angelina as support, recommending protecting and converting her to a player unit. 20C repeats the Shelfaniel and Selena fight, focusing on rangers, dragons, and bridge control, noting Selena's movement on turn 3. Scenario 21C tasks players with defeating Bruno, with Shelfaniel and Selena as potential losses, and focuses on attacking Super Gigazaha. Finally, 24B offers victory through enemy annihilation or defending Borzel, highlighting Kruger and demon threats, and includes an event involving Rachel. Langrisser IV. Scenarios 22C-27C offer diverse challenges. Scenario 22C focuses on defeating Bruno while protecting key allies. 23C tasks players with defeating Bruno or Bruno and Ivar, navigating mountainous terrain with monster units. 24C involves defeating Bruno, or both Balk and Ivar, within 11 turns, facing 4 enemy waves. 25C requires defeating Chaos and Bozel, with events on turns 4 and 8, necessitating caution against their powerful magic. Scenario 26C centers on rescuing Emily and eliminating monsters, with Emily's role shifting from a player unit to an NPC. Finally, 27C is about defeating Gizilov, safeguarding Rachel and Ranford, with Gizilov appearing on turn 7, and suggesting defeating him directly to avoid Rachel's destruction and obtain the good ending. This article focuses on Sega Saturn's Last Bronx and its Saturn mode, continuing a character breakdown. It highlights Zaimoku, Yoko, and Kuroki, mentioning how dialogues shift based on tutor/assistant selections like Nagi with Yoko or Kuroki. Strategic tips for Saturn mode include guarding against aggressive CPU opponents, especially from round 3. Players are advised to understand upper, middle, and lower stages, and prioritize PPK combos. The article then examines final battle strategies, specifically Zaimoku versus Yusaki. For Zaimoku, avoid Yusaki's Walker Bomb, use throws, and transition to faster attacks. For Yusaki, dash back to avoid the bomb, and counter with a jaw elbow. General final battle advice favors close-range combat using the crouching hammer to upper hammer combo relentlessly, and using crouching punches for distance when the opponent backs off, with a warning that guarding can be disadvantageous. This page continues the Last Bronx Saturn Mode Strategy Guide, now focusing on final battles against Yoko and Kurosawa. For Yoko, the guide points out that she gets tougher in later rounds, making her guard strong and hard to damage. The recommended tactic is to rely on throws, even from the start of the match. It specifically suggests using a low spin kick to counter her PPP combo. Moving on to Kurosawa, the strategy shifts. The guide mentions that CPU Kurosawa in Saturn mode isn't as aggressive as his arcade counterpart. If Kurosawa misses a big combo, players are advised to capitalize with throws. For later rounds against him, the tip is to wait crouching and use low punches and other lower attacks. The emphasis for both characters is on understanding their fighting styles in Saturn mode to overcome them in the final battles. This page highlights a special Dream Seabass game event, featuring famous angler Masami Murakoshi and special magazine reporters at Sagami Bay in July. This is part 1 of Rickeney's Fishing the World series. The event was a collaboration with Victor Soft, likely to promote their game, Sea Bass Fishing 2. They used the boat Dai San Brahmaru and enjoyed sea bass fishing. The page humorously presents the reactions of Suzuki-kun and Rickeney as they encounter the fishing expert and participate in the event. The page also details the tackle of the day, which includes rods, reels, and line, specifically recommended by Mr. Murakoshi for sea bass fishing with lures. There's a section showing Mr. Murakoshi presenting a Strike Force saltwater kit to the magazine reporters as a gift, celebrating their successful fishing trip. 2 individuals are spotlighted as Saturn Maga special reporters fishing Rara. Mr. Hidetoshi Yanase, a veteran angler of 20 years working at a famous fishing tackle shop and 26 years old. And Mr. Daiki Maeda, a 16-year-old high school student with 3 years of fishing experience. Both were selected out of approximately 300 applicants for a Daiwa Seiko secret story, present in volume 19 of Saturn Maga's social studies field trip. The next page continues the Dream Sea Bass Game event with famous angler Mr. Murakoshi. It's structured as a step-by-step guide or narrative of the fishing experience. First, it shows Mr. Murakoshi giving a lecture on boat fishing, emphasizing it's not as easy as it looks. Then it moves to the fishing action itself, with the reporters challenging to catch fish. It seems Mr. Murakoshi quickly catches a fish, creating excitement. The text highlights Suzuki's surprise and Rickeney's observation about Mr. Murakoshi's skill. The page then shows another reporter also catching a fish, described as a hit, with excited reactions. The 4th section features another reporter catching a dorado, or mahi-mahi, emphasizing the strong fight and good size of the fish. The final section concludes with Rickeney also successfully catching a fish, referring to it as Shirachan, and highlighting everyone's success. There's a small table with details about the Saitama Maga recommended boat fishing guide, listing locations, boat names, contact information, and notes about fishing conditions and target fish. This seems to be practical information for readers interested in similar fishing experiences. The page ends with a catch and release thank you section, showing the participants and expressing gratitude, mentioning the rainy weather, and everyone getting wet but enjoying themselves. It implies they released the caught fish, aligning with game fishing principles. The overall tone is lighthearted and enthusiastic, documenting the fun and excitement of this fishing event with Mr. Murakoshi. This page dives into the world of Treasure Co. Limited, with a feature called Treasure Factory, and it's starring a character called Kupizan, under the banner of Hard-Working Businessman. It looks like a promotional piece focused on their game Silhouette Mirage. The page is arranged like a comic strip with 4 panels. The first panel has a somewhat cryptic speech bubble, mentioning Shibako and Tekken Rikoto, which might be some in-house jargon or a playful comment. Panel 2 shows a horde of enemies, and the text, "In such a situation." Panel 3 displays some floating, pumpkin-like enemies with the caption, "I even saw such a dream." The final panel features a character asking, "Did you understand Kupisan's feelings now?" and another line about time flying by. Down at the bottom, there's a section asking, "Silhouette Mirage is now," suggesting it will give updates or insights into the game's current status and development. It's presented in a lighthearted and visually appealing way, clearly hyping up Silhouette Mirage. This page is another installment of the Treasure Factory feature, this time spotlighting Light Crusader. It describes Light Crusaders as Treasure's 5th game, a unique action RPG centered around puzzle solving through 6 floors, rather than just combat. We get a look back at the game in the Memories of Light Crusaders section, featuring an interview with director Yuchishi. He shares his personal journey with the title and his return to Treasure, reflecting on the dot art style. The Reader's Corner features fan letters showing reader engagement with Treasure and the magazine. The Developer's Corner shifts to a more philosophical tone, discussing the importance of ethics in game creation, even referencing a past rude remark from the company president, while mentioning they are still looking for new talent. The information section points towards the upcoming Tokyo game, Show 97, and teases that the next feature will focus on the Silhouette Mirage team. It also provides contact information for Treasure Factory, and announces that they are actively recruiting programmers and graphic designers. Lastly, there's a clear promotion for Silhouette Mirage, with its release date of September 11th, accompanied by a cute character illustration. This page introduces the character Hitomi no Nomura from the fighting game subtitled Anarchy in the Nippon. This is part 6 of a character introduction series, and this time they are focusing on a stylish Kogyaru-type girl in a school uniform. The article describes her as a balanced character in the game, highlighting her fighting style that mixes female pro wrestling techniques with throws and strikes. In the Iron Man comment section, a developer mentions the effort put into animating her skirt and how her fighting style is designed around throws but also includes good strikes, aiming for a balanced approach that will appeal to fans of pro wrestling. The character story section reveals Hitomi is a third-year high school student known for seeking fun and excitement. There's a short story about her being approached by a man who compliments her fashion, but she finds him annoying and dismisses him. The page then moves into showcasing Hitomi's special moves in the "Check out these noteworthy special moves" section. It details 3 signature techniques: the shoulder upper performed from a crouch, the rolling elbow for closing distance, and the one-leg giant swing, which is a powerful throw combo. Screenshots are shown demonstrating these moves in action. Finally, the page provides game details at a panel to the right, listing the publisher KSS, a release date of September 25th, a price of 5,800 yen, the genre as 3D fighting, and Alasia's rating, and support for 2 players. This page appears to be the front cover of Falcom Magazine Monthly, a magazine dedicated to Nihon Falcom fans. It's promoting a special feature titled Falcom Classics, and highlights 3 classic Falcom games, Xanadu, YS, and Dragon Slayer. There's also a special interview section with Mr. Yamashita, and a featured article asking writers to choose their masterpiece if Falcom Classics 2 were to exist. The cover image features fantasy artwork with a castle and sunset. This page delves into the Falcom Classics feature, specifically focusing on the innovative systems of the game Xanadu. The article highlights that Xanadu was renowned for its balanced gameplay, impressive graphics of the time, and original game mechanics. The feature emphasizes the item proficiency system, where using weapons, armor, shields, and recovery items increases their effectiveness. For example, a well-used dagger can become stronger than a brand new sword, encouraging players to master their equipment. The article also points out that item prices in Xanadu are tied to the player's level, meaning as you get stronger, things become more expensive. Money management and resourcefulness are key, particularly when buying essential items like keys needed for progression. The page showcases gameplay screenshots illustrating these systems in action. Finally, the feature introduces the Karma parameter, a unique aspect of Xanadu. Karma represents a player's alignment between good and evil. Negative actions raise your karma, which can restrict access to important locations like temples. The article hints that there are ways to reduce karma, adding another layer of depth to the gameplay. The page also provides release information, noting it's an RPG from Japan Victor/B Falcom, slated for a November release, with a standard version priced at 5,800 yen and a limited edition at 6,800 yen. This page reviews the Saturn version of YS, Ancient YS Vanished Omen, focusing on its Saturn mode, which offers slightly improved graphics and easier gameplay compared to the original mode. The game centers around Fina, a heroine trapped in a shrine with amnesia. The article showcases a battle against the second boss, Nig Dilgar, and a mask item that grants invisibility. It also discusses the game's mechanics, noting its action RPG style, puzzle elements, block movement, and strategic item usage. Players must manage items carefully, and collecting gold increases HP. The game features an evolving enemy strength system. Finally, a promotional section announces a contest where purchasing the game offers a chance to win a rare Fina figure or a special telephone card, with the figure being a highly sought-after collectible. This page is an interview from Monthly Falcom Magazine in a segment called Talking to That Person Part 3, and features Akira Yamashita from Studio Bent Stuff. He's discussing his shocking encounter with Falcom computer games. Yamashita mentions that when he first encountered Dragon Slayer, he thought it was beautiful, especially the way the colors were toned down and the characters were detailed, moving around on the map. This gave him a strong positive impression of the developer Falcom. He also talks about Xanadu, saying it was very impactful and shocking to him. When he first saw screenshots of Xanadu, he wondered what kind of game it was. He was impressed by the ruins motif, boss battles, and beautiful background art. He admits to being hooked by the game and played it extensively. He mentions that around the time this game came out, he was already answering readers' questions for magazines, indicating he was already involved in games media. The page also features a promotion for Falcom Classics on SEGA Saturn, advertising it as a deluxe edition that combines 3 RPG titles into one package, available for pre-order in November '97. It mentions a limited first edition with 2 discs and special character materials, priced at 8,800 yen, and a regular edition with 1 disc for 5,800 yen. Akira Yamashita from Studio Bent Stuff discusses his experiences with Falcom games. He fondly remembers playing Dragon Slayer and being impressed by overcoming a game challenge based on a dream. He also faced difficulties with Xanadu and appreciates the impact of user-shared discs. Yamashita highlights Yai's action-oriented gameplay and challenging bosses, appreciating the solvable puzzles and manageable difficulty. He believes porting these classic Falcom titles to the Saturn is significant, especially with the decline of floppy disks. He praises Falcom's dedication to its users and expresses excitement about replaying these games. The article promotes the Falcom Classics release on Saturn, featuring Dragon Slayer, Xanadu, and YS, with accompanying screenshots and game descriptions. This page is all about a call for votes from SEGA Saturn magazine readers to decide which classic Falcom games they'd like to see ported to the Saturn as part of a potential Falcom Classics 2 compilation. They mention that if they get enough votes, it might actually happen. There's a table listing a bunch of Falcom titles with voting numbers, including games like YS2, Xanadu Scenario 2, Romancia, Temple of the Sun, Azteca 2, Sorcerian, and many others like Dragon Slayer games and Brandish series. Columnist Yamashita talks about his picks, saying he would most like to see YS2 and Xanadu Scenario 2 ported. He mentions Romancia and Temple of the Sun too, wondering how modern gamers would react to them, remembering how tough they were back in the day. Writer Arai also shares his choices, heavily leaning towards YS2, stating it's essential if YSI is already included in Falcom Classics. He also expresses interest in Sorcerians, highlighting its unique ADV-like system with direct word input for commands, and a focus on mystery and atmosphere. There are also screenshots and descriptions of Xanadu Scenario 2, Sorcerians, and Temple of the Sun, emphasizing Xanadu Scenario 2's enhanced graphics and sound, Sorcerian's large scale with numerous scenarios and magic types, and Temple of the Sun's distinctive graphics and atmosphere. This page is all about Skunk's presence at the Autumn Tokyo Game Show, with a spotlight on King of Fighters 97. There's a quick word from Umeharashi in the maker's comments section. SNK is showcasing King of Fighters 97 as a highlight at the show, alongside other upcoming titles. They're exhibiting a range of King of Fighters games from 94 to 97, plus Samurai Showdown and Metal Slug on both Neo Geo and PlayStation. There's a section about a Neo Geo Freak gathering, and this month's Koi features Daysan with reader comments and fan art. SNK World is giving updates on the KOF 97 special exhibition and how to send in postcards with fan submissions and questions for Umeharashi. Reviewers are enthusiastic about KOF 97, praising its intensity and team-based gameplay, with one mentioning the excitement of 4-player team setups. The page includes screenshots from King of Fighters 97 and character illustrations, such as Kyo Kusanagi and Blue Mary, and even Shingo Yabuki making an appearance. This page dives deep into Kyo Kusanagi in King of Fighters 97, highlighting him as a 94-style character. The article points out that while Kyo retains some classic moves from King of Fighters 94, like the Red kick and Oniyaki command throws, some have been removed in 97, so players need to be mindful of these changes. It suggests revisiting Kyo's older movesets and adapting playstyles. There's a section with move commands and screenshots that demonstrate Kyo's techniques in action, including mentions of using weaker or stronger versions of moves and combo potential. The reviewers talk about the strategy of using Kyo's fire-based projectiles effectively, especially given that some older projectile moves are back from KOF 96. They also touch upon other characters like Andy, Terry, and Mary, mentioning how they are being played, and discuss characters like Chris, Terry, and Yamazaki in the context of character balance and difficulty to play against. The overall tone is enthusiastic, encouraging players to experiment with Kyo's updated moves and strategies in King of Fighters 97. An illustration contest based on Samurai Showdown, Warrior's Rage yielded many entries. Sai Kawako of Hokkaido won the grand prize for a piece featuring Amakusa, and 10, receiving a poster, tapestry, stickers, calendar, and telecard. Hattori Kozo from Fukuoka and Shirata Yuji from Yamagata each won an Umemoto Prize, receiving similar prizes. Sanuki Anna of Osaka Prefecture won the Satamaga Prize for their atmospheric artwork, receiving power memory, software, and bank goods. Numi Zoheiho from Chiba Prefecture earned the SNK Prize for an expressive depiction of Nakoru and Rimuru, winning a tapestry and stickers. The contest's popularity was attributed to the game's RPG elements, inspiring story-driven submissions, with future contests anticipated. This page is from AM2 Research Volume 66 and is part of the Express Weekly official corner presented by SEGA. The main topic is Virtua Striker 2, and the segment is called Bin-chan's Goal. All members gather. This corner is presented by AM2's producer, Sanaga Bin-chan, who will be explaining everything about Virtua Striker 2, even for beginners. The page dives into analyzing team strategies and formations, focusing specifically on the 442 double volante, or 442 DV system. Sanagabin, the director of Virtua Striker 2, mentions in an interview box that Virtua Striker 2 has been out for a few months, and players are starting to discover deeper ways to enjoy the game, especially in Versus mode, where you can play against others. He discusses enjoying different playstyles and strategies. The page details the 442 DV formation, explaining its characteristics as a system emphasizing defensive strength due to the DV, or double volante. It describes how this formation allows for solid defense, but might lack attacking power in counterattacks. It also includes a VS2 terminology section, explaining key football positions in Virtua Striker 2, like forwards, whose job is to score, midfielders who orchestrate the game and control the match, defenders who stop opponent attacks, and Bolanche, which are defensive midfielders focusing on defense. The page features screenshots of Virtua Striker 2 gameplay and images of Sanagabin. This page continues the Virtua Striker 2 focus, diving into team-specific advice for countries using the 442 double volante formation. They highlight 4 nations: Japan, Italy, England, and Greece. For Japan, the strategy is all about balanced play, acknowledging they are balanced but might lack a little attacking edge. Italy is presented as a defensive rock, emphasizing their strong defense. England is geared towards explosive starts, using quick dribbling and passing to put pressure on opponents right from the kickoff. Finally, for Greece, the tip is to leverage their height advantage, suggesting players use high crosses into the box to capitalize on their tall forwards. There's also a queue and a section with Virtua Striker 2 director, Sanagabin. One question from a player is about shots from the center circle often going in. Bin's answer is quite direct, stating that allowing shots from the center circle is a bad mistake. He admits to using long shots himself but emphasizes preventing them. The key is to build up your play effectively and take advantage of defensive errors or interceptions. Lastly, there's a section called Festival Urgently Wanted, which is a call for reader submissions for Bin-chan's Goal. All members gather. They're looking for anything Virtua Striker 2 related questions, fan art, you name it, to be sent to the provided address. The Japanese Virtua Fighter scene is buzzing, with dojos nationwide reporting on rankings and events. Hokkaido's Ino leads, while Miyagi has Tokuno Akagi. Saitama highlights Love Love 69 and newcomer Oya Master, with upcoming events. Tokyo's Aniki continues his reign, sending representatives to nationals. Shizuoka's Game Center Madoka is number 1, with a renewal event planned. Aichi's Kotamaru is strong, with regular tournaments, while Osaka focuses on national qualifiers. Hiroshima is led by Dolch from Fukuoka, and Fukuoka's champion is Jackie Sakaguchi. The scene thrives on local rivalries and competitive events across the country. This page is a special feature on The House of the Dead, calling it a prologue to a new tragedy. It highlights it as a hot topic, with developers discussing the making of the game due to its high income and hopes for a SEGA Saturn port. They are revealing some development materials as part of this special feature, suggesting a Saturn version might be in the works and that these materials hold some key information. The page introduces two key developers, Mikimoto Tomochi from AM1, the programmer, who is also working on other arcade projects, and Oda Takashi, also from AM1, the director, who is overseeing the entire house project and is currently involved in developing a motorcycle racing game called Motor Raid. Both are mentioned as being involved in other arcade game development. There's a section about early CG images for the game, noting that the initial concept art was created with a sorrowful player in mind. The overall story was intended to be tragic from the start, influencing the dark tone of the initial CG images, as stated by the designer, Taguchi. It's emphasized that the game's image was decided upon from the early stages of development. This page showcases the characters and early design concepts for The House of the Dead. It reveals that initially, Sophie was intended to be a playable character, which is quite interesting. Character profiles are given for Tom Rogan, who is described as having a more mature look in early illustrations and being a researcher at DBR Corp. Dr. Kurian's design remained largely unchanged from the initial concept, and he is noted as a man with deep human emotions, sometimes referred to as Dr. A. Other characters introduced include Mr. Happy, described as Dr. Kurian's bodyguard, Playboy, whose role as friend or foe is ambiguous, and G, the second player character, whose initial design is almost identical to the final version. The page then shifts to monster design, explaining that early concepts were very flexible, allowing for almost anything, and gradually evolving into more defined monsters. Concept sketches of various monsters are shown. Finally, it touches on scene design, emphasizing the film-like construction and the detailed modeling of the mansion. Concept sketches for various scenes within the mansion are also displayed, with a note to pay attention to the detailed modeling diagrams. Developer comments throughout the page give insights into the design process. The development of The House of the Dead began with the physical gun, originally planned with a realistic blowback mechanism, but ultimately deemed too unreliable for mass production. Diaries from the development team offer a peek into their daily routines, including map creation, gun adjustments, and debugging, alongside mentions of team morale and meetings. These entries also document challenges in enemy design. A rejected boss concept, the turning back system, involved a unique dual-screen setup, forcing players to face threats from multiple directions. The team viewed it as a potentially groundbreaking idea, but it was never implemented. The page concludes with a giveaway of The House of the Dead t-shirts and a "Coming Soon" message, hinting at an upcoming announcement. This page is a report titled Cyber Troopers Virtual-On Crossover Over, and it's written by Tomoko Higuchi, who is reporting on her first live performance. The page features photos of Higuchi performing on stage, a group photo with what seems to be band members and staff, and an image of Fei Yen, the iconic Virtuaroid from Virtual-On. The report starts with Higuchi saying, "Everyone, how was your summer vacation?" She mentions it was her first live performance this summer, and she was quite busy with end-of-term exams and rehearsals. She felt excited to finally perform and mentions rehearsing original songs that would be performed live for the first time at this event. She also talks about how happy she is that people came to see the live show and wanted to offer something special to them through the performance. She also mentions that all the band members are fun people, and she gave them nicknames, like Q-Pie for the bassist, because she is good at giving nicknames apparently. It seems like a very upbeat and personal account of her live performance experience related to the Virtual-On series. Tomoko Higuchi's live performance was a success. She was moved by fans waiting in the rain and felt the venue, Harajuku Ruido, was filled with energy. The set list included personally significant songs and originals, spanning ballads to rock. Despite planning, she improvised during talk segments, leading to an increasingly enthusiastic audience. Even after the encore, Kiss, she felt energized. She noticed feedback about her hand gestures, and overall enjoyed the show, expressing a desire to perform again. The page also announces winners of a giveaway for Virtual-On related model kits and figures, with lists of winners and their prefectures. This page dives into The Lost World, Jurassic Park, Stage 5 Strategy. Brought to you by SEGA AM3, Research Department Number 3. It's all about tackling the final stage, with tips directly from Steven and Kosugehara. They describe it as a gun shooting game for 2 players, running on the Model 3 board. The stage scenario revolves around rescuing baby Treks and dealing with angry parent Treks. You'll be navigating through the employee village, with players split into pairs and moving towards the trailer to help the baby Treks. However, be warned, parent Trekses are on the hunt as they believe humans are endangering their young. A key strategy point. Point 1. Focuses on the convenience store before the trailer. Apparently, knocking down the convenience store is crucial to get life ups. They recommend hitting the convenience store during the initial rush to get life and rescue the people inside as they give you life too. It seems like a vital tip for survival in this stage. The page includes a diagrammatic map of Stage 5, highlighting points of interest like start, end, and other numbered points, presumably related to the strategy discussion. Game screenshots are also shown to illustrate the gameplay and the convenience store strategy in action. Overall, it's a strategy guide focused on helping players conquer the challenging final stage of The Lost World. This guide focuses on Stage 5 of The Lost World, Jurassic Park. Point 2 advises protecting the baby Treks inside the trailer from raptors, using focused side attacks, and preparing for the parent Treks. Point 3 highlights that Stage 5 is harder than Stage 1, demanding faster shooting due to increased sight indicator speed. Point 4 warns that the final trees is extremely tough and necessitates continuous, rapid fire. A 1-point advice section underscores the importance of cooperation in 2-player mode. Teamwork, especially item sharing, is crucial, especially when a player's life is low. Illustrations depict the baby Treks, male Treks, female Treks, and gameplay screenshots. This page is a report on the Skaters Session 1997 qualifying tournament for the game Top Skater, held at Cinemagic in Kamata on August 18th. Apparently, even staff from SEGA AM3, the developers of Top Skater, and magazine writers participated. The event is described as more of a relaxed session than a serious competition, with a lively and friendly atmosphere. Players of all levels, from seasoned pros to complete beginners trying the game for the first time, were there. The article highlights some interviews with key people like Mr. Kano from the Top Skater direction team, who talks about seeing a lot of skilled players and the fun atmosphere. Mr. Kato from the Top Skater press team mentions that even though it was a qualifying event, the focus was on enjoying the game. The report also mentions the high scores achieved and names the top 3 players who qualified for the area finals. Kato Ryunosuke in first place, followed by magazine writer Masayuki Sato, and finally Hayashi Jin. The article ends with a friendly invitation to visit Cinemagic Arcade in Kamata, highlighting it as a great place with a cool atmosphere and friendly staff. This page introduces characters from the game Nanatsu Kaze no Shima Monogatari, which translates to 7 Winds Island Story. We get to see 4 cute but slightly menacing-looking creature characters illustrated by Keita Amemiya. They are named Seal, Mole, Mule, and Eel. According to the graphic designer, they put in a lot of effort, even though the character designs are simple, with only 3 leg parts, 5 body parts, and horn parts. They describe the characters as energetic and restless, despite having few types of movements, which gives a strong impression of movement. Interestingly, their horns can be used as signposts, but you need to be careful not to bump into them. The character art. There's more text describing these 4 as close siblings who always act together, like mischievous children, full of energy. They are always going this way and that, jumping around and never settling down. They seem to be searching for something small and beautiful, and even the wise old drive. Soul doesn't know what it is yet. It asks, what could they be trying to do? Finally, at the bottom, it introduces Garp Hakase no Gentukai, or Dr. Garp's Magic Lantern Show, which appears to be related to 7 Winds Island Story. It mentions this familiar series, and how the adventures will unfold through illustrations, characters, and graphics, inviting readers to further enjoy the world of Rain Palace Keita. This page is all about secret techniques for SEGA Saturn games, perfect for students enjoying the last bit of summer vacation. The page features tips for 3 games. First up is Mega Man X4. It reveals cheats for hidden parts and color changes. For X, you can get hidden parts by entering a command at the player's select screen. For Zero, you can change his color with a similar command. The article also mentions the ultimate armor for X, which changes color and gives a powerful Nova Strike attack. There's even a secret to make Zero's armor black, giving him a cool villainous look. Next, for Thunder Force V, it seems PC users get a bonus. If you put the game CD into a Windows or Mac computer, you can find a hidden OMake folder. This folder contains graphics, term explanations, and other cool extras for fans to enjoy. Finally, for Eternal Fantasia, there are sound-related secrets. By pressing the X button on the profile screen in the game, you can access a sound test and even hear answering machine messages and other fun audio extras. The page also has a section encouraging readers to submit their own secret techniques. Prizes are offered for submissions, including Saturn software and book coupons, depending on the quality of the secret technique. This page reviews 3 games from different perspectives. Those Who Hunt Elves, Hanafuda Edition, a Hanafuda adaptation, was enjoyed by female users for its gameplay, but criticized by high rollers for its niche appeal and guest writers for its lack of integration with the source material. Scores varied, with female users giving it a 7, high rollers a 5, and guest writers a 3. Kochi Kame, Nakagawa Land Big Race is a board game racer praised for its multiplayer, character abilities, and capturing the essence of the Kochi Kame series, earning a perfect score for fun. Desire, a multi-site adventure game, is lauded for its user-friendly structure, story, and visuals enhanced by the Lucid Motion system, receiving high praise with a 99% completion score. Release dates were given for Kochi Kame, August 29th, and Desire, September 11th. This page showcases a new soft schedule, essentially a release calendar for upcoming games. It's laid out in a table format, organized by release date, starting from late August and extending to December. The table includes columns for the game title, price, maker, genre, and compatibility information. Looking at August releases, there's Eve Burst Error, Premium Pack, and Finalist. September includes games like Those Who Hunt Elves, Hanafuda Edition, Desire, and Kochi Kame, Nakagawa Land Big Race, all of which were discussed on the previous page. October highlights Winning Post Final 97, Mao Yuanki Ju Fighting Whirlwind, Gvector, National Uniform Bishojo Grand Prix Final Dove, Cross Romance, Dizemon 2, Ninja Jajamaru-kun Less Than All Greater Than, Tactics Formula, and Dead or Alive. November features Galaxy Express 999 Plus and Galaxy Fraulein Yuna Returns, Eternal Blue, among others. December lists titles like Derby Stallion, Princess Crown, and Farland's Story. Many of the titles have genre classifications like SLG, Simulation, SHT, Shooting, Act, Action, ADV, Adventure, RPG, Role-Playing Game, and Puzz, Puzzle. Some entries also have compatibility notes, like multi-tap support or controller types. It seems to be a comprehensive look at the software lineup for the SEGA Saturn in the coming months. This document outlines upcoming SEGA Saturn game releases, presented in a table format detailing title, price, maker, genre, and compatibility. The schedule covers Winter 97 and 98. Winter 97 releases include Magic Tales, Words, and Psychic Force, among others. 97 also sees Sonic R, Azelpanzer Dragoon RPG, and multiple arcade ports like Kyukyoku Tiger 2 Plus. Other titles include Grandia and Baroque. The 98 schedule features Faradun, Kindaichi Shonen no Jikinbo, and Ginga Ojo-sama Densetsu Collection 3. Later months in 98 offer titles like Sakura Wars 2, Detective Jinguji Saburo, and Graduation 2 I Wedding Bell. The genres span RPG, Act, ADV, SLG, and Tools, promising a wide variety of gameplay experiences. This page delves into the game The Conveni and its connection to modern convenience stores and the future world. The article is titled The Subtle Relationship Between Games and Art, Convenience Stores and the Future World, and argues that the convenience store, or konbini as they're called, is a symbol of the modern city and a mirror reflecting the future. The author, Dr. Fuse, reflects on how the game The Conveni mirrors the convenience of modern life, drawing parallels to his own experience of booking airplane tickets online. He points out how these games are becoming increasingly relevant as internet shopping becomes commonplace. He describes the Conveni as almost a science fiction game in this context, highlighting how convenience stores have changed our lives and become a network of information and resources. The game itself is described as a simulation where you manage a convenience store. Dr. Fuse notes that in the future, these game simulations could even connect to real-world store networks. There's also a small section called Work Number 29, which lists The Conveni Monopolize That Town as the game title, published by Human, with a release date and price. Finally, there's a weekly Fuse Academy quiz section, likely a regular feature by Dr. Fuse. This page presents a horoscope section titled Hakozaki's Mother's Astrological Forecast for the week of August 29th to September 4th. It features advice and predictions for each zodiac sign, separated into boys and girls categories. Each sign has a brief description of the general luck trend, followed by specific advice for boys and girls, and a lucky item or action to improve their fortune. The overall luck trends range from good to bad, affecting areas like money, health, work/study, and love. For example, Aries boys are advised to be careful with their actions as they might be seen as arrogant, while Aries girls are encouraged to focus on studying. Lucky items and actions include things like silver accessories for Aries boys, listening attentively for Aries girls, red accessories for Taurus boys, and copying notes for Taurus girls. Each sign provides similarly tailored advice and lucky items. SEGA Saturn magazine is celebrating its renewal with a giveaway across 4 issues, this being the second round. Readers have a chance to win one of 9 prizes. The grand prize is SEGA Saturn compatible software, allowing 20 winners to select any Saturn game released by August 29, 1997. Other prizes include Eve Burst Error posters, World Cup Golf, Hyatt Dorado Beach software, a Real Sound, Kazi no Regret music box, Densetsu no Ogre Battle software, a Graduation S poster, a Kuro no Danshu clear file, a Sonic the Hedgehog t-shirt, and a Capcom secret file. To enter, readers must complete the postcard questionnaire, including their name, address, prize choice, and game names as written. The deadline for entry is September 12th, and winners will be announced in the 97 Volume .3 issue. SEGA Saturn magazine readers have a chance to win several prizes. SEGA is giving away Top Skater t-shirts, and Acclaim offers D no Shokutaku software to 3 winners each. 5 readers can win a Ochiji Designer Make Pond telephone card from Packensoft. Compile is offering a Puyo Saturn inflatable toy to 10 lucky entrants, while Sega AM2 provides a Virtua Fighter 3 keychain. Media Rings offers tactical fighter pins, Data East is giving away Side Pocket 3 software, and SoftBank provides Area 51 software, all to multiple winners. A grand prize is the Monitor Giveaway, where one winner receives an FMV DeskPower S2165 monitor. To enter, readers must use application tickets from the September issues, providing personal details. The deadline is October 3rd, with winners announced in Volume 37, who may also be featured in the magazine. The monitor includes a Pentium 166 MHz CPU, 2.1 GB hard drive, a 15-inch display, an 8x CD-ROM, speakers, and a 28.8 kilobits per second modem. This page is showcasing a special project for SEGA Saturn magazine readers. Original telephone cards. It's a service for all applicants, meaning everyone who applies during the promotional period, from September 5th to October 10th, will receive these exclusive phone cards. There are 15 different designs available, featuring artwork from popular Saturn games. We can see some of the game titles and characters featured on the cards. Number 1 seems to be based on Daytona USA, showing a race car. Number 4 is for Slayers Royal, the RPG. Number 7 is for Tushinden, the fighting game. Number 8 features Twinkle Star sprites, the cute and chaotic shooter. Number 9 is for Langrisser IV, the strategy RPG. Further down, number 12 is for Yuno, a girl who chants love at the bound of this world, the adventure visual novel. Cyberbots, the mech fighting game, is number 13, and Samurai Showdown, Amakusa's Revenge, the samurai fighting game, is number 14. It looks like a great way for fans to collect memorabilia of their favorite Sega Saturn games. It's also mentioned that the designs shown may be temporary, so the final phone cards might look slightly different. The magazine previews upcoming content and celebrates August issue winners. The second issue is undergoing a power-up renewal and will launch a new novel series, Crimson Lotus Squad. Expect exciting game announcements soon. Applications for SEGA Saturn Magazine phone cards are open until September 12th. You'll need an application ticket. The August issue winners are listed, with prizes like software, a Cyberbot set, trading cards, and signed novels. The next issue releases September 5th, dated September 19th. Contact information for inquiries is provided. Game spotlights include Sonic, Grandia, Quiz Deny 2, King of Fighters, Roommate, Macross, and Lunar. Silver Star Story. This page is quite quirky and eye-catching. It features a collage of kids' faces plastered onto cartoon bodies, all surrounding Sylphide's main character, complete with her signature weapon. Right at the top, the headline reads, "Sorry to keep you waiting, Syl," or something along those lines, next to a red burst exclaiming, "New works galore, especially," which is probably hinting at new games or content from especially. Looking at the speech bubbles, we've got one character saying, "In case of emergency, use a reflector." Another exclaiming, "Wow, it's like becoming a split personality." And then Syl herself declares, "All right, let's return the Earth to normal." It's all a bit strange and humorous of it. At the bottom, in big red letters, it shouts out, "September 11th is the nationwide game multi-attribute shooting day," which I'm guessing is advertising some kind of nationwide event focused on shooting games with multiple attributes. Sounds like a genre focus for a competition or game release. It also mentions Tokyo Game Show 97 Autumn down in the corner, placing this page around that time frame and event. There are also the Sega Saturn logo and the Tokyo Game Show logo at the bottom, confirming this is related to Sega Saturn games and the big game show event. This page is dedicated to the quirky action game Silhouette Mirage. It's a really eye-catching page with a collage of kids' faces sporting those distinctive red and blue hats, which seem to be a key element in the game's design, as they're worn by the game's characters too. The text at the top loudly announces, "Eto Mirage," which is the game title itself. Looking at the speech bubbles, we get some intriguing snippets about the game's world. One character mentions, "The Silhouette tribe is incredibly fast," hinting at speedy gameplay. Another asks, "Ito, what is it?" Perhaps Ito is a character or important item. Then we have Zofar is a half, which could be about a character's identity or abilities. Finally, it's mentioned that the Mirage tribe is good at using machines, suggesting different factions or playstyles within the game. At the bottom, in bold red, it urges you to hurry to the shop, because it's a new action release. The price is listed as 5,800 yen, excluding tax. The logos for Treasure, and especially, are there too, confirming who's behind this unique title. It's a very energetic and playful ad that definitely grabs your attention and makes you curious about the world of Silhouette Mirage. This page showcases the Street Fighter collection. It loudly declares that there are 3 stages of battle, clearly referencing the inclusion of 3 classic games in one package. You can see iconic characters like Ryu, Chun-Li, Cammy, Guile, and Zangief prominently featured, instantly recognizable to any Street Fighter fan. The collection itself boasts Super Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and Street Fighter Alpha 2, all in one place. There are small screenshots showing gameplay from these titles to give you a taste of the action. It seems to be promoting a special edition version that was released around September 18th. Overall, it's a strong, visually driven advert, highlighting the value of having 3 Street Fighter games together on the Sega Saturn.